Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. You might notice it's a bit different today. The screen's a bit different, and there's an extra panel on the screen. So, I'm Lorne. Hi. Crash, my co-host, is here as always. Welcome, sir.
Oh yeah, no, I thought you were going on to next. Yeah, it's your boy C, aka the Welsh Gunner. Come on.
And then, of course, we have with us today the longest reigning.
Let him say it. Otherwise, you can get copyrighted for it.
Yo, Bizzle Bond, former Premier Battles champion and the longest reigning battle rap champion of all time. I will never get tired of saying that. Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's going to be an interesting show this week, if no other reason than we've got. I forget. What are you again? Longest? It doesn't matter. You're a champ.
You know fine well, sir.
We've got some serious talent in the house, and we need to pick over a serious episode because we're into the knockout phases, ladies and gentlemen. There's no mucking around now. This is do or die. You have a bad performance. You choke, you stumble, you come in with some whack angles. You're out of here. We're not playing anymore. So, gentlemen, impressions of the episode. Crash, as my co-host, I feel like you should take us out. Tell us impressions of this episode, brother.
It's actually mad, like, you know what I mean? Like, just the boys that get going home now. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like the group stages, safety of there's another battle. It's just sudden death now, innit? So like upsets everywhere. But Bowski was on our show last week, bro. We was chopping it up, having fun. He's out. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, our boy got out. Yaneth, oh no, out.
Oh no, what a shame.
I like it though. It's competitive. Do you know what I'm saying? We had 3 battles this week, and they were fire battles, all of them for their own reasoning that we'll get into. But I enjoyed it, man. The final 16 is 16 and
Biz, impressions, my friend.
Yeah, echoing what Crash said, man. It's business end now. Business end is where all the wins actually matter the most. So yeah, it's getting to the nitty gritty now of the tournament, and that's the bit everyone's wanting to see, I think. So it should heat up from here.
Feels like the knockouts come all of a sudden, and we're going to be through it in a fucking flash. After 11 weeks of the group stages to be 2 weeks, and we're through the last 16. Does it feel like we're starting to get like, oh, actually, this is starting to, there's no more room for, again, mistakes, cock-ups, excuses. The narratives are fully taking shape now. We've listen, lads, make or break time. Like, how are we feeling about some of the guys that are through now? I mean, we'll come to the battles, but we've got 3 guys that have made it through this week. We've got Sam Hypes, we've got Quicksilver and Hamill. Do we feel like they're worthy contenders to the final at this? Because again, these guys are knocking out every single week now. Do we feel like these are worthy winners in this round?
I think personally, I've been very impressed with Sam Hypes. I think he's done very well in this tournament. Someone who's always like, you know, been in the early stages of tournaments, or, you know, at the middle to end of a card on a battle day to get this far in the tournaments. Like, you know, big props to him. I think Hamill is one of my favourites to win the whole thing, personally. I think Hamill's got everything to win the battle. Obviously, he's the Academy champion as well. So it's, you know, I would consider him one of the strong favourites. And Quicksilver's been surprising to me. He's not been someone that I've followed greatly. He's someone that I think does certain things very well in his battles. And he's taken out Bowski, who was, you know, a vet, been there, done that kind of battler. So surely he can continue to improve as well. I think he will do so. But yeah, all three are interesting going through. I think there's a couple of shocks there. But yeah, that's tournament battling for you. You always get that.
Not that you'd speak from any kind of experience, any real legacy tournaments.
I was the shock in my one. No one had me winning anything in that tournament, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about everyone else. So
you say that. I plan to bring it back to you later on, but I suppose I do want to say from Crash, as far as, because you mentioned it at the top, like the upset aspect of this now. are we surprised, Crash? Like, we've watched these guys week in, week out for, again, 11 weeks. Who surprised you the most out of those three? I mean, I think Hamill off the back of what is obviously a great Academy final. Quicksilver having won his group. Sam, obviously, not really had the reps yet to be able to get into the frame of mind, but still pulling out the win. Who's kind of surprised you the most this round?
I think we're at the part of the tournament where, like, I think the 16 we're seeing now is the last of the riffraff, should we say? Like, everyone that's gone through deserves to be there from yesterday's episode. Like, do you know what I mean? Sam with a they're calling it the upset because many people, including myself, had Ghast making it into, if not the finals. Do you know what I mean? Bowski, a legendary icon in the scene. Do you know what I mean? And Quicksilver, again, like Bizzo said, Quicksilver, I had seen battle once, maybe when I went to Short Circuit, and I really wasn't fond of that style, but he's come a long way during this tournament and made a lot of improvement that, like, I can't argue that he does not deserve to be there. Hamill, I feel like is, again, I was watching the back and I was like, I want a Hamill Pagan final. I want it because I'm greedy. But there's nothing more that I'd like even more than someone to take that from me and slide tackle in there and take the final. Because that's the final I think we kind of all want. Like, you know what I mean? The first battle was built up. It lived up to that expectation. It was fire. It was a great battle. Probably my favorite battle of the tournament. I want it again. I'm greedy. But then I also want someone else to take it as well. Take it from me. And you have your spot in the final, man. So yeah, man. Hamill, but out of all of those, I don't think Hamill's dropped the ball one round. I'm not going to lie. He's been applying pressure every single battle.
I think Hamill's been getting better every round. I think he's starting to come into his own. The good thing, the interesting thing with the three that have gone through is that Quicksilver's kind of like a dark horse who you wouldn't expect to go through. Sam Hypes is an interesting one because it's almost like similar to, you know, like a boxer who hasn't had many fights. Like he's a lot more fresh. Like, I think one of the reasons he beat Ghast was that he was a lot fresher than Ghast. I sensed a lot of burnout from Ghast in his battle. I sense that he's kind of like he hit a wall with his writing and his performance and stuff and couldn't really elevate again. And I think Sam took advantage of that. And then Hamill's obviously one of the favourites. I think he was pointed out early on as being one of the favourites for the tournament, and he's living up to the hype. So the three that have gone through are all interesting in their own right, for sure.
Okay. Well, we've got two comments so far from Riz Southside. That's not easy to say. I'm assuming that's RX. Big South, good luck, boys. Tark. And then Pagan. Hamill has been phenomenal throughout and genuinely made me step my game up. Of course, I don't know if you saw their battle. It was all right. But I suppose we better pick over some battles, gentlemen, because we've got 3 to go through, and I made extensive notes. I know. Quicksilver versus Bowski. What are our impressions? What are our thoughts? What are the standout moments? And who do we... Because this, I struggled with this one. Because, again, I watch everything back on half speed so I can try and catch everything. I can see the rhythm of things, the placement, the references, all the rest of it. I thought the reactions, Quicksilver was stronger on the first watch. On the watch back, though, I got what people were saying about the fact that this is probably a more technical Bowski, and this is more reflective of what he can do with a bit of extra time, and he wasn't ill this round, so he was able to apply himself much more thoroughly. Impressions, thoughts, what do we got, gentlemen?
Bizzo, you go first, my boy.
The thing is with both of these battles, you have to have almost an acquired taste to like really enjoy them. I think that's one of the main takeaways from it. And for me, I've always been a fan of Bowski because of just like how eccentric he is, and not necessarily from a technical standpoint. I don't think he's like an overly technical battle rapper, but in terms of entertainment, he always provides it. Whereas I think Quicksilver's he's like more studied the game. You can tell that he really works on his multis. They all flow very nicely. They all fit together very nicely. And then he's added like a comedic element to that. So they're very different in terms of what my personal preference of watching battle rap is. So it's very hard for me to judge it, but I understand why Quicksilver was given the win over Bowski. But then again, I understand why people would be aggrieved that Bowski didn't win the battle, if that makes sense. Like, it's one of those for me where it really goes down to which style the judges prefer in their own personal right, rather than, you know, it from any other standpoint other than that. I think that's how you have to judge a battle like that, because it's such a like a big style clash, in my opinion.
Before you answer, Crash, if you didn't see the live episode and you're concerned about how to judge this battle, may I refer you to the third judge of this battle? He went into some detail. You'll see what I mean when you watch it, but just trust me on that. Anyways, Crash, thoughts, Bowski versus Quicksilver, standout moments, my friend. Who do you think got the better as well?
I think this battle was judged correctly, man. I gave it to Quicksilver myself, and on the second watch, I just like Quicksilver's material. Like the first was great, the second was great. Like from the opening to like the end of the rounds was even great. I felt like where Bowski had some. I don't know if I was like, I don't know. I felt like it was quite. There was some choppy moments in that. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And it weren't the worst Bowski, but it wasn't the greatest. Even though he did have some good moments, but like Quicksilver's the gigs reference, the pop up in your thoughts as an artist. That was probably the highlight of the battle for me. That was probably one of the funnier ones. And yeah, I'm sad to see Bowski leave. Like we were chopping out with him last week, having a great time, and now he's gone. R.I.P. In battle rap world, obviously, lyrically, R.I.P. But like
breaking news.
Yeah. But like, yeah, man, it's just I feel Quicksilver had 3 more solid rounds over Bowski, man, and this is the last 16. This is the last 15.
Okay, so I have to be that guy.
You're that guy.
I have to be that guy. Okay, so I'm not being contrarian. I'm not. However, judging. Let's talk about it. We don't like people going to the well too much. Now, I judge Quicksilver winning this too. However, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Quicksilver was quick to point out that Bowski was generously proportioned, not once, but roughly 50,000 times. He was fucking hammering that point home like it was going out of style. What made that work this battle, whereas other battlers, I mean, I'm thinking of who was it? It was Red Wolf and Dub T in the very first. That everyone was like, Red Wolf, you're going to the well too much, mate. It's not. It wasn't working, but you were going to the well. Yeah. What made Quicksilver's work here? Do we think? Do we have any thoughts on that?
I don't.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was just about to say I don't really have any, to be honest. Like with regards to that, I think, you know, it can be a case in a lot of battles, but I didn't personally see it.
Was Quick just a bit different? Because I think Red Wolf does have that little bit of trepidation. He's a little bit hesitant when it comes across. Whereas Quicksilver, I think even though he has his moments where he struggles, maybe he stumbles a little bit or loses his place, he has a dismissiveness. Like, he has a very condescending tone that I think works, especially when he's judging. Like, his judgmental nature comes across well when he's... Like, I'm thinking of moments like...
Bit snobby, bit posh.
Yeah, like he's leaning into. He's being pointed out to him anyway.
Yeah, but the thing with that style is that when you're in a room where there's only like 10, 15 people, it's hard for it to come across. Like you're. It's the same with Bowski's style. Bowski in a room full of people that have been drinking and having fun all day. He's like the life of the party. Everyone loves him. That's why all of his battles go off. Quicksilver's very similar in the sense that he needs the laughs in order to, you know, link into the next part of his material, and although people are laughing at home and the judges are laughing on, you know, behind a screen watching, it's not the same. And in the room, when he's dropped, you know, something with comedic value where he's expecting laughs, it's almost like there's a gap for like the canned laughter, and then that can come across as awkwardness because there's a gap then leading into the next link because he's anticipating laughter. It's the same. It works both ways. It works the same with people who are bar heavy, who are expecting reaction from haymakers as well. You know, you'd leave a gap thinking that you're going to get reaction for something great that you've written, whereas comedians will obviously leave room for laughter. It's just part and parcel of it. I think that's why it comes across that way on camera, but I wouldn't look too much into it just because of the format of the battles. I think, you know, when it goes back to live performances, it'll be interesting to see how Quicksilver's style translates now he's got a few more battles under his belt, and you know, how far he ends up going in the tournament as well.
I have a point to make on that, but before I do, Crash, any other thoughts on how Quicksilver was able to get the win in this? Because again, I feel like a lot of his stuff, if I go over my notes for a second, I mean, he opens both rounds, his second and third, with that. I mean, the only race I'd lose with you is a race into the dining room is round 2. Round 3, when you think the largest, he better pop him your thoughts as an artist. Like, he just,
round 3, not
just
round 2,
completely comes out with it. You're the Burger King of Burger King. You look like a kitchen mum with a sign that says live, laugh, lunch, Big John reference. You're a well-rounded battler. This is all in round 3, by the way. This is how he finished, and that's after 2 rounds where he was quick to pepper it in. And that was kind of versus Bowski. Like, I think the first round, he's kind of talking about his name, Quicksilver, the X-Men Marvel reference. But then you got a bit of Bowski in the sense of, like, he'll throw out stuff. Like, blickety black. Like, yeah, where the fuck did that come from? Like, okay.
Crash bar, bro. I love that shit, bro. That was all me. That blicky burst. Oh, I was rocking with Bowski until he lost. I think you're both correct, though, in the fact that, like, I think this battle, the lack of the crowd played a big part. And what it was I feel like the reason Quicksilver got the win was because he recovered quicker, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, when Bowski said something and it didn't quite hit, I kind of felt sorry, like he lost HP in front of me, like, like in a room that would have hit as well. But like in the competitive setting, like someone said last week, like Frost said it, I think, like no one's really wants to give you that reaction, but like a funny joke will get it. But like, yeah, you're not getting the full authentic crowd, which you've written for as well, which is, yeah. So I feel like that's why I said earlier that Bowski was more choppy, because it just felt like,
okay,
that didn't hit, did it? Like, it just noticed more that it didn't hit.
So this is, I can finally not break. So I was here for this. I remember this battle because I remember it, again, kind of both guys felt in the room like they were struggling to find a bit of a rhythm and a groove, with the exception of one moment and one moment only, and that was high-fiving someone calling time. I can't tell you, people were fucking power. They were like, they weren't sure what to do with themselves. It was like a low rise in the room. And I just thought, Quicksilver gets this, man. Like, I get he's got work to do, and I get maybe his style needs some translation, or he needs reps. I mean, that's not beating around the bush. He's still relatively neophyte in the scene. However, to look at Ghast, who, again, frankly, we were talking about it last episode. He was, I don't think he meant it, but people were saying, man, you can't put it's putting me off bad. He turns it into high five, Ghast. Like, that's great. That's fantastic thinking on the spot, and doesn't finish the round at that. Kind of goes on for another few seconds. What do we think Quicksilver now needs to do to advance?
I'm going to be a bit of a devil's advocate here. I don't think that was done on the spot. I think, however, what I will say is that I think it's very high battle rap IQ to observe that which I believe this is what he's done. He's realised by watching the other battles when they're going over time that the hands going up, and he's incorporated that. And then it may be done in the moment, you know, as it's getting towards the end of his round. He may have constructed his round to go, well, you know, to push the thresholds to force the hand to go up. But regardless of if it was planned or if it was on the spot, I believe it was planned, and he's actually noticed it. And I actually think that's more impressive personally. I think noticing that and then going, you know, in the next round, I'm going to high five Ghast when he puts his hand up when it's close to my round finishing. I think that's more impressive than just high fiving him spontaneously in the room. And that's high battle rap IQ, which not a lot of people, you know, they don't notice that sort of stuff. So it's props. I have to give him props for that, because it's probably one of the most standout moments of the tournament so far, in the sense that of how creative it was within such a small setting with a small crowd. So I have to give props for it. Although I do think he purposely planned to do it. I don't think he freestyled that.
Thoughts, Crash?
I agree with Bizil. I think it was pre-planned, but like, again, it is a smart move in a new environment that Prem have created. He's done a wheelie. He's the first person to do a wheelie on a bike. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, he's broke the norm, which I was very impressed with it. Like, even though I agree with Bizzo, I think it was pre-planned, and like it was only something little and quick, and it could have been incorporated. And if he didn't do it, he would have got away with not doing it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was very impressive of Quicksilver to come up with something brand new in battle rap.
And then final question for me on this, actually kind of a two-parter on this one, gentlemen, and I'd let you pick the bones of this however you want. Quicksilver's through, obviously. What do we need to see from him in the next round in order to see him progress? Because, again, there's any number of people that he's going to have to come face-to-face with as the tournament progresses. But maybe more saliently, Bowski. I think he acquitted himself quite well in this tournament. Like, he kind of came in and did what it said on the tin as far as the tournament's concerned. He gave guys a run at someone that they probably wouldn't have battled otherwise. He performed admirably. He had his adversity, but he brought something different. What do we want to see from him going forward? I don't want to see him retire. I certainly don't want to see him go off into the sunset. I don't want to see any battler do that. But if he does come back, what do we want to see him do next? Play with those questions however you will, gentlemen.
I just want to see him be Bowski, man. I like watching Bowski. I like watching him in entertaining battles. I'd like to see him matched up with people that he can bounce off stylistically. I think in recent years, the whole scene, whether it's the UK, the US, Canada, whatever, it's kind of like progressed slightly to a more respect for the writing side of things, and so the entertainers who were, you know, the popular ones back in Don't Flop's heyday, quite a few years ago, that they're like kind of not able to, you know, express themselves how they normally would. So he either goes down one path, which is to try and catch up with the writers and be more technical and be more bar heavy and be more pen orientated, or he sticks with his style. And I think sticking with his style is the right move, because people will still want to see it. He's still got a good fan base of people, evidently, from what you see in the tournament, who want him to win and do well. And I think whenever he battles, as long as he's battling someone he can be himself with, he can be Bowski with, then I think that's what he should focus on, because they're the battles that we want to see from him.
Crash, what are we saying?
Yeah, man, I agree. I agree with what Bizzle said, to be honest. Like, yeah, I just want to see bigger Bowski battles and like people that make sense to have Bowski matched up against. Same with like Kingsley, Hulk, and Frost. These are not new guys, you know what I mean? These are guys that have been around a long time. And like, I gotta commend all of them, because they always get stuck into different battle rap stuff. May it be a tournament, different leagues. These guys are always about. So yeah, they deserve to get their stages. Do you know what I mean?
And then finally on Quicksilver, what does he need to do now to go on and win? Because this is why I was kind of hoping that Bizzo would say yes and appearing today, because he has form for this, pulling miracles out of the bag, when in hindsight it was, well, of course, he's fucking Bizzo Bond. What does Quicksilver have to now, maybe not do, he's got work to do, but what do you need to see from him to start looking at him in the set? I could see him winning this tournament. Because at the moment, I'll be honest, I have my doubts. I think he has certain aspects that I would be like, if he went up against Pagan, Hamill, Dub T, Sam Hypes, others, he'll struggle. He'll get some good licks in, but I don't know if he can win. What does he have to do? Don't you fucking dare. I saw that face, Crash. It's too early in a fucking show for a pause.
Had to, bro.
No, not this week. We have got a champion in our midst. Ridiculous. Come on, gentlemen. Let me into the mind of a battler for a second. No,
okay, so what I want to see from Quicksilver is quite plain and simple. I want to see the people you mentioned, Dub T, Sam Hypes, do you know what I mean? They've got one thing about them that they do a lot better than Quicksilver, and that is they are a very competitive nature, and they are very vicious people. So I need to see a harsher tone come from Quicksilver. Do you know what I'm saying? I need to see nasty now. I don't want, like, the joke thing is fine. Like we said, he has that kind of wanker tone of like he's looking down on people when, like, he was calling Bowski fat. I want to see that, but more viciously now. Do you know what I mean? I need to see dirty tactics for the final, to be honest.
That's a new that's a new one on me. Wanker tone. That's a new one.
Wanker tone, bro. You know people with wanker tones, bro.
Knobhead vibes. Interesting. Okay. All right. Biz, come on. Give us some insight here. What has Quicksilver got to do to give himself a shot?
I agree, man. I think, like we said before, he's got a very condescending tone to his style, and I think he should use that in his favor. I think he needs to be more direct with his opponent and less generic towards them. You know, not the angles where you'd expect them. Like a fat angle against someone, you know, it's the first thing that will come to your head. I'd like to see a little bit more, you know, care taken with the angles to make it a lot more direct and hard hitting, because you can piece the material well together. Like I said, he structures his multis very well and you can see that he understands, you know, he gets the assignment when it comes to that. And he's got the presence in the room as well. You know, people listen to him. I just like him to be more direct, literally stand in front of his opponent and aim all 3 rounds right at him, you know, and try to break him down, like with what he's trying to say, and not just, you know, going for the obvious all the time. And I think if he does that, he'll improve, and I think he could upset quite a few people in the tournament for sure.
Before we move on to the next battle, me and Crash have a habit of doing I wish they did more of that, or I wish they did this. I can point to something in this episode that, again, we hang it in the Louvre. Fuck it. So we go through the judges. Maverick gives it 2-1 to Quicksilver. Sean Craig gives it to Bowski. We're all, who's going to win? And then we cut to a man in a shirt and a chalkboard who proceeds to rob me of 7 minutes of my life, Quill. I want them back, fucker. So, gentlemen, character work, themes, narratives, having a bit of fun with the format returned on this episode. Did we like it? Like, I saw the comments pop off and saying, what the fuck is happening right now? And this is great, this is trash, and everything in between. Thoughts, like, on the judges? Because Maverick has another little moment later on in this episode I want to touch on with you too if you noticed it, but using the judges segments and some of the studio segments has kind of fallen by the wayside of injecting a bit of character in the shows recently. I understand why, but we'll be glad to see a return of that in the week's episode. Crash, I want to throw that to you first, because I
enjoyed the fuck out of it, man.
You love chaos.
It was funny, bro. At first, it was like, what am I looking at, bro? What is going on here? And I noticed it was a chalkboard as well. I was like, why is he doing it? And then I remembered, Quill always does way too much, bro. Like, I've seen Quill dress up as a magician, as fucking Squid Games. What's he gonna do? And like, it was kind of a rolling joke of like, this is gonna go on for ages. And then it actually did go on for ages. But I'm not gonna lie, entertainment wise, it was funny, man. It was something different. It was funny. Again, it was something new in a new environment, I guess. So it was good. It was good, man.
Biz?
Just Quill being Quill, innit?
Just Quill being Quill. That's exactly what it was.
I don't really have anything to say about it, really. If people found it entertaining, sick, man. Like, that's yeah, fire.
I mean, I'll be honest, we're probably all of a reasonably similar age.
I don't own a lab coat, first and foremost. Right. And I don't own a chalkboard. I don't know where he's got that, what school he's broken into.
I'm a teacher, bro. We ain't even got blackboards.
Yeah. Tell me where you find them anymore.
Gone in a time machine, gone back to the
interactive whiteboard now.
Like, we've touched the battle.
Would have been easier to find an iPad or just blow it up on the screen or whatever. He found and chalk and I have so many questions, but I thought it was funny, so I thought I'd raise it. But there you go. Quill, I want my 7 minutes back, fucker. Second battle, gentlemen. I don't know how much we necessarily need to talk about this one because, Yaneth had a rough time. It was not a clean sailing for young Yaneth. Hamill he took all 3. There's no really ifs, ands, or buts about it. Across the board, judging-wise, I gave him all 3 rounds. Does anyone want to give Yaneth a round, maybe? Spice things up and, throw a cat amongst pigeons? Biz, go on. Be controversial. You know you want to.
I actually gave Yaneth nothing. No, like I said, man, I think Hamill.
It was a tall order for Yaneth. Let's all be honest. I mean, Hamill was coming off the back of a battle with Pagan. Hamill
wants to win the tournament, and I think Yaneth was a late addition. People don't understand like the motivation you've got to have to enter something like this. You can't just do it on a whim and then accidentally win it. You have to actually put some effort into it. You're battling people that you don't necessarily want to battle, people that you won't necessarily battle, via matchmaking anyway. You might be battling someone who's a lot worse than you. You might be battling someone who's a lot better for you. Either way, you need certain motivation to be able to do it. And you know, from my perspective, I could see that Yaneth wasn't motivated to win the battles, whereas Hamill was. And then when that happens, there's a large disparagement between the two, and that just showed to me quite evidently in the battle.
Thoughts, Crash? Let's try and find a good spot for Yaneth. Let's try and find some positivity here.
Oh no, listen, I'm not gonna slate him. Like, I think for stepping in and doing it, I've got utmost respect for him. But in terms of like a motivation level, he wasn't motivated to win the tournament. You could tell from a couple of performances, and you could tell he was rusty as well. Like, he's not battled for a while, and yeah, he was up against it. And then to battle someone who's, you can see he's desperate to win it. It's completely different. It's like you've got to take it up 2 or 3 notches, and you can't just coast by against someone like Hamill who's hungry to beat you. Like, he literally came to take his head off, and it shows with Hamill how determined he is to win the tournament, because he literally put on a great performance against Yaneth. He didn't slow down. He didn't take it easy. He didn't, he wasn't like coasting along. He literally went for his head from the first bar, and yeah, that's very hard to beat.
I mean, should we focus on that? Because I think it was Briggsy actually that mentioned it in the sum up, how he gave props to Hamill. He put his foot on his neck and didn't let up the entire, and it was fucking from the jump, man. Like the first line from Hamill, he screams and he's weird. He's feeling for gear. He pulled out a bag of Coke because he forgot he had it because he hadn't washed his jeans in a year. References the Red Wolf battle. Claims Jay Short crafted your style. You talk a lot like Jimmy Fallon. Buzz when I talk like Tim Allen. You never slow it down, and ends the round with "fuck off." Like, so aggressive from Hamill from the jump, and it was up to Yaneth to respond. And again, struggled. But like, how much props does Hamill deserve for turning up and giving that level of performance?
Lots, man. This is what I was saying to. I said to you after we interviewed who shall not be named on this channel anymore. But like, he was saying about like getting battles that you don't necessarily want, and like Bizzle said earlier, this is a tournament where you're going to be battling people that you necessarily wouldn't battle in normal life. And this is what I said that I wanted to see of like the level of like bombing on people that you feel like is quite rude to get matched up against. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, show the actual difference of why you shouldn't give people. The only reason we got matched up is literally because of this tournament, because the level was different, and Hamill gave a Hamill, like, was the material that Hamill performed better than the stuff in against Pagan? No, but it was still killer material that was a more laid back Hamill, just doing keepy uppies, to be honest. Like, do you know what I mean? Felt like he was just having fun with it, just kicking dead hedgehog like. And Yan did Yan. Yan did Yan, man. Yan did Yan, bro.
Yeah, I thought Hamill's great, man. Like I say all the time. Like, I meet a lot of new guys in the scene. A lot of them message me directly and he's one of them who wants to get better every time. Like, literally the first thing he wants to know when a battle drops or when a battle's announced for him is like, how can I be better? And when you like that, it's very hard for you not to be a great battler, because you're putting your ego to one side. You're not sending, I get battlers every day sending me rounds for saying, can you listen to my rounds for me? And then I'll say, yeah, when's the battle? And they'll say, oh, it's in 2 days. It's like, right. So you want me to critique your bar 2 days before the battle?
Yeah,
you don't want me to critique your bars. You want me to tell you how great you are. That's all you're interested in. Hamill's not like that though. Hamill, I said from the jump, I was like, bro, don't send me any rounds, like 2-3 days out. And he's like, right, got you. And then from then, whenever I've not much throughout this tournament really at all. I've not really heard from him, but obviously that's because I've been judging, so obviously I can't listen to his material. But yeah, he wants to improve every time. He wants to get better, and when you like that, it's very hard. It's a hard person to beat because he'll literally implement what you say, and he takes everything on board. He's probably in the chat now. I think he is in the chat here. Probably listening to
I
what
saw
I'm
a
saying.
comment. Yeah, Hamill, I thought you were working, motherfucker. I invited you on and you told me you were working, but you got time to comment and big up Pagan. Disgraceful stuff. But I tell you what I noticed about Hamill. He has an uncanny ability to kind of lead with the lead, as it were. Like, he has a habit of his opening gambit or line sets the stall out immediately and lets everyone know what he's about, what he's doing, and it evokes buy-in. I mean, the 3 he's got here. So, like I say, that first round where just sets the stall out that he's going to be going on about that sort of stuff. His second round, he just goes, it's something, you're from Birmingham, you fat, horrible cunt. And the crowd doesn't stop for 30 seconds, and he's just sort of laughing to himself. But he's kind of estimated what's going to inflict the maximum amount of embarrassment from his opponent and sets that out first and then starts setting the table, as it were. So he lures you in, and he's so he's got so much likability and charisma, fucking boundless energy. Could that be an undoing, though? Like, I feel like, again, in the Pagan battle, I felt like he was just fucking rampant, just so constant, non-stop, energy. How could a wise battler maybe undermine that or underpin that? Or maybe someone that is a bit more surgical in their approach. Is there a way of underpinning that? Or is Hamill a serious problem? Are we considering him to maybe now that these performances are indicative of someone that could win this whole thing?
I think he can win the whole thing. I've said it from day dot. I think he can, from the battles I've seen from him. After watching it, this is one of the things I'll go back to on the last point. After I watched him versus B Ramble, I thought he was pretty poor by his standards in that battle. And I said to him, I think you started off well, but then you progress. I can't remember which way around it was. I think it was either he started off well and progressively declined, or the other way around. But he didn't seem like he was as up for that battle as he could have been. And from then, he's just improved and got better. And, I think I genuinely do see him as a favourite. I think in terms of the defence mechanism, if I was a battle rapper in the tournament and I was coming up against someone like Hamill, his style's very hard to diffuse because you don't know what angle he's going to take against you. And when you've got different approaches and different, pockets to go in, it's hard for you to guess what they're going to say to you. Like, you don't know if he's going to turn up and be bar heavy. You don't know if, like you said, he's just going to turn up and say you're from Birmingham, you horrible cunt, or whatever it was. You don't know which way about he's going to go with the battle, and that's dangerous. That makes him dangerous, but that makes him a favourite for the battle as well.
Crash, what we saying?
I think one thing that stands out about Hamill is he improves, and it's not even like minor improvements. It's rapid improvement for the amount of time he's been in the game. He has a lot over. He has a spark in him, which he loves battle rap. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not 100% sure of his history before, but like watching him yesterday, I was like, there's no way this guy didn't rap before he rap battled. Like, there's no way that someone can learn rap as well as he does. Like, do you know what I mean? But I'm every time I see him, Pagan starting to lose my vote. I've still got Pagan winning, my boy, but like Hamill's making it difficult for that argument, man. After they battled and Hamill won, do you know what I'm saying? It's hard for that argument, man. That boy is great, and it's
they're both great. They're both great though, and they both want to be better. That's the main takeaway you need to take away from people like Pagan and Hamill. Is like they want to get better. Like they actively sit in. They sit in these videos and they listen to people talking about them. They look at the tweets online and see what people are saying. They come to you directly and ask for advice. And when you're like that, it's hard not to favour them.
The hunger shows, like it's
yeah, that's it, man. Like the hunger's everything in this game. Like you've got the improvement and the actual willingness to learn and improve as well. It's a very egotistical industry, the battle rap, and people don't like their egos being hurt. But if you can put that to one side and say, "Look, listen, how do I be better?" then you'll go 100 miles further than most battle rappers will.
Well,
that's life advice as well. Not even in battle rap. Just
exactly, man. Yeah, exactly.
Someone might have something to say about everything that we've just disseminated, because Hamill joins us now live. Hamill, what's good, brother?
Dashman and gentlemen, how are we?
Where's your rare gone?
Well, I said the
Bust
same
it off.
thing.
Don't open with that. Why is he opening with that? You know, not even a hello. How are
Not
you?
even a
Proud
well
of you.
done.
I've
Not
just
even a
been,
well
I've just
done,
been
bruv.
bigging you up for half an hour.
I love that. Fair enough. I was working, lad. I was working, but I didn't catch any of the nice compliments. I just caught the "Where's your hair gone?" And that's fucking the barber floor. That's where it's gone. But happy to be here, gents. Fuck you, by the way. A lot of people like the short hair, so I might let it grow back though. How are we?
I feel the love in the room right now. We're all well. What we want to know is you're through. How do you feel? You're one step closer to winning the whole goddamn shebang-a-bang. £3,000 cash could be in your pocket, Hamill. And a belt. What do you think?
And a belt. It's surprising, really. I didn't think I'd get this far, being honest. Just when Where Winning Matters started, I was still in the academy. I was just focused on that, and that was the goal for me, really. But when it kind of got introduced, I seen the likes of, I think even Bizzo's name might have been in it at one point, but I've seen the likes of his name, Visual, even people who, you know, have stayed in, have put up really good performances, the likes of Frost, De Berk. You know, there's a lot of good people in the tournament. I remember seeing it thinking, I don't know, you know, how likely I am to kind of make it through here, but I think you surprise yourself. I think I always say it, but having good people around you that have been there, worn the tee a little, Bizzo being one of them. You know, I don't know anyone that's helped me more on the writing side, just the being able to condense things, let things go that shouldn't be there. I think, you know, I heard you speaking a little bit before about the rounds for Jan, and my whole thing for that battle specifically was I don't want to be just stuck in gear one for this. I want to kind of put the pace on him a little bit, regardless of what he does. I feel for him as well, because Briggsy did say to me in the morning, he spat them 3 rounds to me today twice and got them out perfectly both times. So I think just on the day it got the best of him. But much respect to Jan. Happy to be where I am in the tournament. Really, it has been a surprise, but just learning from people around you, the likes of Bizzo, Maverick. I'm always asking people questions. Ghast buff more than maybe anyone, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Questions for Hamill before I do my usual city. I have one real question, which is
I got one.
You know.
I got one.
Go on,
How
Crash.
does it
Go
feel
on.
to say to a man that every time you step on stage you have to battle rap Dream, and then we have to proceed to watch him have the battle rap Dream, bro? Because we've all had it, Biz. I know you had it, bro. The
Bro,
battle
I
rap
did
Dream,
like
bro.
2
And
nights ago.
bro, that shit's rude, bro. That's exactly what I came for battle rap for.
Brother, do you know what it is? Great question, by the way. I weirdly enough, I want to say about a week before I wrote that bar, I had a version of it myself. It wasn't to the extent that like I can't remember if it was you, Biz. Someone has told me they like woke up in a pool of sweat, like thinking they were in a room with 200 people and like just had no, you know. With mine, it was more like I think probably like I attempted a rebuttal and it just didn't work, and then kind of didn't go. But I woke up like fuck, like it feels so real in the moment. But I had also just seen, I think it was Disaster was on Jazz the Rapper's podcast, and he was speaking about having the battle rap Dre, and I was watching the clip laughing, thinking I've just had this, and then I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm battling Yaneth. I kind of feel like that. Yeah, there is a thing of, don't get me wrong, Bizzo, you'll know this, but the whole of like you don't want to mention a rapper. You know, one of my biggest mistakes I think early on was the Jim Bob Gnarly battle. I done a whole round because the 3 battles before me, Jim Bob had choked him, and very frustratingly, the 2 after me choked him both of them as well. For me, he turned up with 3 well-remembered rounds.
That's a compliment, though, bro. That's a compliment.
True, yeah, for sure. I just think on my part, it was I should have listened a bit more when people were like, the problem is you're preempting it and you're kind of setting yourself up to. If you speak about a rapper choking, I feel like it does increase the chances of you choking. Thankfully, not happened yet, but yeah,
I don't think it enhances the chances of you choking, but you've got to make sure that it's so tight that, because even like a stumble in that moment when you're discussing someone choking, it's just self-destructive. That's all it is.
Ironic, and it's too, the irony's too there. Like, not now. Not now. You had the whole round and you chose now.
Yeah, Bizzo's quite right there though, because it can be a case of, I feel like in that second round for Jim Bob, had I had one stumble, one mishap, 1 second too long pause, it might have been the catalyst to fuck up that whole round for me. So now I try and, obviously I'm trying to, with me, I get a lot of props, if you will, on being a little bit different right now, and I do think it's a strength, and I want to keep not doing the same things that everyone else has done or the same things that everyone else has heard. But it is hard because you want to experiment, you want to be creative, you want to take risks. But then obviously these are tournament battles. It's not like I've got, you know, minutes every round. I've got loads of time. I can fuck up. Say if I try something halfway through a 2.5 minute round, if it doesn't work, guess what? I've got another minute 15 seconds of good material to maybe try and get the crowd re-engaged. So I just think it's being selective, and it just so happens that, look, Jan, for all of his for all of his flaws and failings, Jan's a good person, and I do believe that he had the material remembered in the morning, which is so frustrating for him. I could definitely feel that at the end of the day, but again, when I had the battle rap dream line, certain things just fall into place for certain people, and I just try and roll with it if I can and make it as creative as possible. Really enjoyed the battle, man.
I'm going to be the only person to admit this. You could give me a Rubik's Cube, I'd never solve it. Does that make me dumb, Hamill? Go ahead. Say something now!
Yeah, it does. If you had all of eternity to do it and you couldn't do it, I would say to an extent you may be coming up short. Who knows, though? You can't judge a person's knowledge, I suppose, by their ability to complete a Rubik's Cube. It's just, I genuinely do think if you sat Yaneth in a room for 50 years, constantly looked after it, I don't think he'd ever complete that Rubik's Cube. That was the only motivation behind that bar, as I was looking at him and thinking, what could he do? What could he not do? And I think that was just one of the glaring not do's, is that he probably wouldn't be able to ever complete a Rubik's Cube. This is where he proves me wrong, and he's got 4 of them on his shelf in his room. He's just doing them behind his back, blindfolded. I don't know, but
well, all jokes aside, do you feel like you've laid down the gauntlet? Because again, I have extensive notes on what you said in this battle, and it was just one after another after another. You didn't really miss an opportunity to make a point. Do you feel now you're the man to beat? You had the strongest, arguably the strongest showing of this show in the knockout phases, which puts you front runner. You're facing De Burke next. Yep. A guy, again, who has proven as the tournament's progressed, he's leveled up. He's won more plaudits as the tournament's progressed. But are you now the man to beat, having pulled out that performance against Pagan and then this performance where you really did not, there were no fat on the bones in this battle, man. You really just kept coming and coming and coming. Are you right?
Whoa,
shut up, Hamill. Are you the man to beat now? Give me an answer before Crash explodes with irony.
Whoa,
it's like you're doing it on purpose.
It's because I'm surrounded by 7-year-olds. Just a pause every 5 seconds, for God's sake. Hamill, answer my strong, in no way, fucking innuendo-laden question. Ghast, your damn pause icon is not welcome in the comment section. Cammy, you're not welcome in the woe either. Hamill.
I welcome in the comments.
Ghast, I welcome anything from
ridiculous.
Ghast. But I think it's a weird one where, to everyone else, I think, yes, it probably looks or feels that way. Weirdly enough, though, for me, it's genuinely felt like, I think since the McCoy battle, because McCoy is someone who, like, I've become really good friends with, and he's got such a good pen. Like, I wish people could see the best of him, because if I'm being honest, and I say this as his mate, they've not. But since that battle, McCoy turned up and maybe give the most confident version of himself, as did Jim Bob. A lot of people were saying Cooper was the best he's ever been on the day. Kick Nelly had a really nasty round in there, which was complete bullshit, but like I respect the way he wrote it and prepared. So it kind of felt like, you know, Pagan. You have both watched that battle, right? Like that was in no way a me wiping the floor with someone. That was a very fucking, it's on both parts tough material to stand in front of. So I think now, after, you know, people seeing the Yaneth one, I'm sure De Burke is watching or has watched that battle thinking, fucking, I know he was in the room for that and gave me props in the room. So I think it's, yeah, to everyone else right now, I definitely think I am the one where it's like a win over him would be good, because I'm getting a little bit of momentum and traction. But this is the thing, in a tournament, it's it's so interesting because it's so different. Like, it's weird. I only had a taste really of what regular battle rapping is like before being in one tournament. Then now I'm in the other. It's kind of like I haven't got loads to compare it to, but it is different, and it can go any way on the day. All I can do is be as prepared as possible. And what you said there about like trimming the fat and just trying to, you know, every line, that's just at least for me, like a progression thing. It's not just because you're against someone like Yaneth where there's a lot of different angles you can take. I think it's just you know, if I watch a Bizzo Bond round in fucking, I don't know, 2016, 2017, it's going to be amazing. Content-wise, it's going to be brilliant. He's going to hit on 3 or 4 different things. He's going to punch on the angles he's taken. But if you look at Bizzo Bond, for example, in even just a one-rounder against Tay-Rock, it's every fucking line, and it's just, I think it is just over time. In no way am I comparing me to Bizzo, by the way. I just think it's a case of you start trying to cut the fluff, the more chances or opportunities you get to demonstrate what you can do. I think you want it to be more every fucking bar. And, you know, Bizzo's someone who can kind of walk you into something. You're like, fuck me, you're still processing that. And then he's already kind of walking you on to the next thing. And someone I take a lot from just massively on how he structures his stuff. It can really go from one extreme to the next, and then he can bring it right down and just readdress the crowd. I'm just trying to find my own way of being consistent, being aggressive, attacking. Something you said, Lorne, a few months ago, where you were like, really like Hamill. He's so likable, very professional, like carries himself well, creatively he's there, but he's not nasty enough. I want to see him be nastier. And I remember hearing it thinking, fuck you, look. But then I was like, in fact, that he does have a point, though, where like a lot of the stuff I'm saying, it could be delivered a lot more aggressively, or it could just be more aggressive, the talking point. So, like, you know, one of the lines for Yaneth was, you never slow it down or listen. Cry me a river, Yan. I'll fucking drown you in it. And it's like, at the surface level, right? It's not crazy wordplay or a crazy scheme to get to the punch. But if you slow it down or just look at me when I'm saying that, I really try and slow down and deliver that end line like I mean it and with intention. And I think it's just that thing of when you start finding your own style a little bit, and I'm still finding mine. I am nowhere. I think me in 12 months will be dangerous. I think me in 12 months to think about is scary. Me right now, I'm still finding my feet, like finding what works for me. I'm definitely feeling more confident in when I get a name now and I've got to go away, think of the ideas, think about what angles I'm going to take. I feel a lot more in the driver's seat there. Like I know exactly what I want to do, where I want to go with it. And even if I don't at first, I've grown to really like that part of the process where you're kind of working out what does work, what you could say, what maybe wouldn't be good if you did use. And it's a cool thing, man, of finding out what works and what doesn't. But just trying to be as direct as possible, I think you have to be in the tournament format, even just on a big card, main stage in the pit. You've got to give it your fucking all every time. And I'm trying to do that and just trying to be as concise, as direct, as topical as possible. And it's hard to be one and the other. You want to be concise. You want to make a point. I think some of the best battle rappers in the world are able to punch on the angle that they've introduced repeatedly. Some of the very best, they'll maybe leave it for a round and then reintroduce it, maybe at the end of the round or at the start of the set. And that for me is like a very powerful thing, something I'm trying to get better at. So yeah, it's just finding my own style, trying to be concise and direct and tournament battling, I suppose.
I've been relegated to the UK Battle Rap sin bin for 2 minutes, according to the comments. So, Crash, any questions for our guest before? Presumably, you've got to go and finish your shift.
I'm already done. This is me. I finished up. I'm quite okay at my job, thankfully. So it meant I could dip off a little bit earlier. So I've got time for you, man.
Interesting. Crash, Bizzo, any questions, comments, feedback, or better still, any demands? Because again, we've got high hopes for Hamill now. He's laid the gauntlet down, and I'm expecting big things. But what do you guys have to say to our illustrious guest?
Crash.
I was waiting for Biz. See, I'm polite.
See, I tell them before the show, like, cut each other up, vie for attention. But no, they're too polite. They're too much respect for each other. Ridiculous.
Fighting for a man's attention is a whole pause. But Ham, bro, how does it feel? And being in like the 8, is it 8? Yeah, being in the final 8 and having someone like the Burke, who, again, like yourself, is of the newer crop and is someone who, in his own way, is progressing like, do you know what I mean? Well, very well, and finding his own feet and his own style and delivering that. How does that feel going into the next battle?
You always ask great questions. You always have a massive smile on your face as well. Like, you're so happy all the time.
It's fucked up now.
It's infectious, man. It's contagious. Nah, I am. It's weird, man. Like, I think again when We're Winning Matters started, I was fucking writing for B Ramble. You know what I mean? I was thinking, oh Jesus, I've got to do this. Then Pagan, and then we're not even done there. It's another tournament. Then I think when you're looking at it, when I was looking at it back then, I definitely felt an element of like, I have to deliver here and I have to give this me all and be consistent. And that's the toughest bit, I think, is being consistent. Because like people don't realize, man, but like one thing I've learned in the past 16 months since I started, like being a battle rapper is hard time wise, like managing. I put so much time into the writing. I probably write a little bit too much, but I do that to try and condense it, refine it as much as possible. So I really am left with the best of what ideas I had. But it's tough, man. Like going into it, I think there was, how many did we start with? 32? Something like that, 32 battle rappers. Now in the last 8, and it's mad. There are people that have, there are people that aren't who in this last 8 that have had 30, 40, 50 battles online, that have been on really big stages, battled international, and it's like, I'm still in it, and that's mental to me. But happy to be here. Genuinely just grateful, man. I think opportunities hopefully will come my way within, outside of the tournament. DeBerk's great as well. Makes me laugh because people say like, oh yeah, like he's quite new as well, and it's like, do you know what, he is, but you've got to think DeBerk came in a couple of years ago, right? And when he did, DeBerk's been around for a couple of years, but he's not had a ton of battles, at least not all that you can find online. I'm coming to realize, but one thing I would say is he's very creative. I think that's his main kind of strength, if you will. DeBerk can rap. He's not one. I've battled a couple battle rappers where you'll hear it in my verse. And I think it's important to do this to an extent, but I'll bring up the fact that, like, me and you jumped on a beat right now. There's no conversation, right? Because I started doing that. I've been writing music, rapping on beat for as long as I've been rapping. So, but like DeBerk can rap, and he's got very good pockets, man. He's a very pockety rapper when he wants to be. He can do something as well. Like I was watching what one was it? The Red Wolf battle. And there's a whole round where he's like breaking them down, almost the hibbity bibbity flow. He's kind of touching on that, but then the very next round, it's like he's almost like comparing him to like an anime character, and he says something like, "You're not rapping; it's just foolish. You don't need to act like an anime antagonist to do this." And he's very good at kind of like dropping little jokes, but then switching it very quickly and doing something more serious, breaking his opponent down. So, and he can rap. So I'm purely excited for this one. I think, like all of us, DeBerk has holes in his game. He's got weaknesses, and it's just my job to do what I do best, try and exploit some of those. One of the type of rapper or opponent where you don't really want to go there and try and do what he does better than him. There are certain rappers where it's kind of like you feel like that challenge is inviting you in, and you definitely do want to do that. DeBerk is one of them where, for me personally, my approach, I don't want to go do that battle and try and out DeBerk, if that makes sense. So happy to be here, happy to have that battle. I think he's a great opponent, so excited for this next one, really excited.
Cammy comments saying that there are so many matches I want to see Hamill in, but he's doing good at protecting the stock rather than jumping into a Viz or a Whispers. Interesting. Biz,
very good
thoughts?
point. That's what I wanted to follow up on, because I think one of the main issues with surrounding Hamill right now is the fact that he's got so much hype behind him. So I don't really have a question for him. It's more of a piece of advice in that just carry on with the level of opponents that you're meeting in these tournaments for now until you feel ready to take someone on who's going to be a test for you. There's nothing worse than jumping into a top tier match and being humbled just because simply you weren't ready for it. And I think Hamill over a long period of time will become a tremendous battle rapper and be someone who can compete with the very best in the UK by no stretch of the imagination whatsoever. But it's very important that the jump isn't too big from what he's doing now to top tier rappers too quickly, and then having that expectation after battling one that should be his only CV now should just be full of top tiers because he's battled one. Being presented the opportunity doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, from there on in, you should be facing top tier opponents week in, week out. So I really like what he's doing. You can tell from, you know, the in-depth analysis of his game and how he thinks and how he wants to improve, that the improvement is inevitable. And yeah, just that I mean, yeah, that's my only piece of, you know, input to this. I think he will be great, and I think with time, you know, he'll be able to beat the majority of the people in the UK. But it's very important that he doesn't run before he can walk.
My question was,
don't be a Georgie Roots, is what Bizzle sounded now.
Georgie Roots is a great example because, I mean, I'm not, you know,
respectfully, like,
yeah,
I
don't mean it in a disrespectful way.
No, but like,
it's a very common mistake to make. I think, you know, when you've tested against someone and put in a good performance against the top tier, sometimes you need to go back and battle someone, you know, who isn't one, just to give you that competitive edge. And, you know, if a boxer is losing 3 title fights in a row, he shouldn't be still in title fights. He has to go back down and you know, get a couple of wins again and put himself back in the reckoning. You don't just stay in title fights because you've been in a title fight. Tyson Fury's just fought a big Russian dosser this weekend because he's not, you know, he wants the belts again, but he's not going to jump straight back into it as good as he is as a fighter. And it's the same for battle rap, man. You've got to realize and have the self-awareness that, right, I've got to go backwards now to go forwards.
Yeah, this is where, like, brilliant advice, by the way, mate. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. This is where, like, having a blood stroke in your corner is fantastic, because I've always been a person who, like, if you ask anyone who knows me outside of battle rap, they'd always say, like, very much so loves a challenge, can definitely do well under pressure. I don't really get nervous for a lot of things, battle rap or events or performing being one of them. However, kind of like going back to your point, I spoke to Stro a few months ago, and I took a battle, or wanted to take a battle previously, and he was like, don't do that because that person's a lot better than you are right now. And I think if you're building traction, you're building a bit of a name for yourself. You go and battle a B-lister, say I'm C-list or maybe lower than that right now. You go and battle a B-lister and they completely kill you. It's kind of like that traction you've just developed for yourself. You've just been the same reason it's kind of gone as well. In the same.
It works the other way as well, bro. Because if you pull off a shock and beat a top tier, then you're expected to beat top tiers week in, week out, and then you get thrown in with someone even better, and then you get humbled, and then you get knocked back down even worse than it would have been.
You know, cycle in it. Yeah,
so it's very important. You've got to not necessarily pick your matches, but you've got to be sensible with who you take and pick the matches that you believe that you can win first and foremost. That's the most important thing, rather than going for the experiences against the bigger guys. And then over time you will get the chances, especially in this scene. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll get matched up with big names in the near future. But it's just about being ready for them, and if you believe that you're ready for them and you believe that you can beat them, and then you believe that, you know, you can move on from that to someone better, then fair enough. But in the event that you don't beat them, you also have to have the mentality of, right, I wasn't ready for that. I shouldn't have taken that. I've learned my lesson. I'll go back. I'll pick someone out who is a bit more suited, that I can beat more convincingly, and then we'll re-go again from there. And that's how you'll build your name up.
It's important, like, being honest with yourself, isn't it? Because there are people, you know, that I'm looking at across the board where I'm like, my God, I'd love that battle. But it's like, maybe I'd love that battle in 2 years where I could make it a battle.
You know, that's the thing. You know, like, it would be great to have that battle, but you know, if someone said to me, "Do you want to battle Tay-Rock 2 years ago?" I would have said yeah, but you know, in my head, I would have had to have been like, "I'm not ready for that yet." There's been battles I've turned down now that I don't feel like I'm ready for, in terms of, you know, in terms of certain opponents. And you've got to like believe with your full heart that you can beat them to even, you know, remotely be interested in them. A lot of people just take battles because it's nice to have them on your CV, and I just don't think that's productive in the scene, because it just causes more of a distance between the tiers when you do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, man, I think you're going on the right path. I think your improvement is evident. I think you're one of the favourites to win the tournament. And, you know, with the right steps and continuing to improve, I can't see why you won't be like a concrete, you know, top tier in the next year or two, in my personal opinion anyway.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna let you have the last word, Hamill, because we've got one more battle to review. So I'm gonna ask you to. You don't have to stay at work, but you can't stay here. Okay? When you win, and suddenly I'm coming begging you for an interview, you can have a whole show all to yourself. I promise. But for now, last word, because De Burke's next. I don't know when it airs. It maybe not next week, week after. Again, no spoilers, but give us some hype. Let us know why we need to tune into this battle, other than it's a Hamill battle. Of course you're going to fucking tune in.
Yeah, definitely tune in, because you'll see my semi-bald head on the screen again. And who doesn't want to see that? Not a word. That was a rhetorical question. Not a word, Lorne Risley. Not a word.
You really hate the fact that so Biz, so you know, the first person to comment on the fact that he'd cut his hair was not happy. Listen, man, we got to bring it up for. And profiterole. We're still not over that, because apparently, what was it?
You bring it up every time.
Agoraphobia is not how anyone pronounces it other than everyone in the world. So that's good.
No, you're missing the mark, Lorne. You're missing the mark.
Sure. But anyways, the final word. What are we saying? What are we saying?
I would say you don't want to miss this one. Definitely, it's the type of battle where, let's just say this, me and De Burke were both in agreement after it that it was the type of battle that maybe could have been a final. Had that battle happened 2 battles later and it was me and him in the final, it definitely would have lived up to that. It was an absolute war. It was definitely a back and forth. Obviously, I can't say too much, but I wouldn't say I can't say too much. It was a very competitive battle. We both done certain things well. We both entertained. We made it. I would say we made it intense for each other, which was cool in the room. Been a fan of De Burke before I'd done the 2-on-2. I'd seen a couple of De Burke battles, so I was already kind of motivated from the jump, because he's someone I wanted to battle at some point anyway. But again, very creative guy. I tried to do some things the same in this one, do some things a little bit differently. So all in all, it was a really good battle, very close battle, one that I'm very proud of, and I know he is too. So yeah, a really good battle, man. People should not be missing that one. If you're free on the Sunday evening, definitely give that one a watch, because it is a very good battle.
I mean, by the way, I want to throw this out there. Biz will be the first to tell you, man, like, growing your hair out, styling that, it's a cool look. Like,
he's only saying that now though, because he's half copied me on the slip back. You know what I mean? Biz has seen me doing the slip back.
That's a bold statement from Hamill there. The champ just copying Hamill's swag just as Hamill decides it's a bit passe. Interesting. Future rivalry, maybe.
I seen him at the last event, mate, and it was astutely observed. I looked at him and I seen me 6 months ago for a set. I said, "Whoa, what are you doing? That's me. That's a bit taller and, you know, Prestonized." Yeah, but yeah, Bizzo's slick back. It's doing wonders for him, I'm sure. As is the fucking buzzhead for me. You know what I mean? Don't hate me because you hate me, Lorne.
I appreciate you hopping on, breaking your work schedule for us. Best of luck for the next round. I look forward to seeing it again, because I might have been there for it. Maybe I was, maybe it wasn't. Stop asking so many questions. We will have you back soon. But I appreciate you joining us, Hamill, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate the other co-hosts as well and guests. Thank you all very much.
That's all good.
Peace, gents.
Big up yourself and kill, innit, bro?
It's in a bit, bro.
Cheers, man. Peace.
And there's Hamill, ladies and gentlemen. He's through. And with that, we have one more battle to review, gentlemen. I'm not sure how to approach this, because someone already judged this, it turns out, that might be in our midst. So I'm going to throw this one to Crash. We have Sam Hypes versus Ghast Buff. And it sounds like from the show itself, you weren't the only one to wrestle with how to judge this one, Biz. Sean Cray looked like he was going backwards and forwards on this. Well, certainly Maverick looked like he called it closely. But Crash, Sam Hypes versus Ghast Buff, discuss.
So on first watch, of yesterday's viewing, I actually thought that Ghast won. Because I've watched a lot of Ghast battles, right? And something every opponent is bound to do is call him gas. And I've seen too many flips that in my own biasness, I kind of dismiss on yesterday's stream all the gas kind of flips. And I felt like, yeah, Gas did all right. Today's watch, however, I watched it twice today. Sam was firing on all cylinders. I think Ghast, it was sad, right? Because Ghast first, he found that mode that we've been asking for. I feel like it was direct, it was nasty, it was a great first round. And I was like, okay, 3 of these, and we're going, and we got something here. We've got something here. Got a body. Then Sam comes out, and his first round, it's all right. Not the greatest. But I feel like Sam, by round, got better and better. And then Ghast was losing. The second and the third, while they were decent rounds, were not as good as the first. And I feel like Ghast first was his best. So I was going to give him a round on the second watch. It'd be that round. But the second round, the third round from Sam, all the gas shit, like when taking away the biasness of the gas thing, bro, that shit was fire. But CS gas, they were like, bars, man. Sam did really well in this battle, man, and it was the Sam that I'd hoped to see against. Who did he battle first? D-Burke? Was it D-Burke? Or Quicksilver? No, Quicksilver, sorry. This was the Sam hypes I wanted to see against Quicksilver, man. It found like, yeah, he's found his spot, man, and he got his place, man.
I want to raise something that Biz himself raised, and I'm going to throw it to the room because I don't know how much I should take away, because I saw this at an NLC event highlighted. My name is not Gas. And that not killed Gas. The room that day. Now, of course, he didn't reference it today, but young Bizzo Bond was kind enough to go, his name's not Gas, it's Ghast.
That's what I mean, man. I've seen the flips, the rebuttals of like, and it is like, yeah, it is right, bro.
But it was, and I made my notes. There were several of them, and in fact, I think it was the second round. Sorry, no, I'm lying. Third round from Sam, where it was cool, relevant to Gas.
7 of them,
Argon,
John.
stunning Gas, crowd control, like CS. They don't want to look at Gas. It was cool, but his name's not Gas. It's Ghast. So my question to the esteemed battlers in the room is, when you've got a guy that is, look, it's good stuff, it's entertaining, it's more of what we wanted to see from Sam, but it's kind of a cheat, because it's not, he's using something that's been used before, that's been rebutted before, but he's used it to decent effect, at least by the judges. How much do we read into that? Do we kind of forgive it and go, it worked, or do we go, maybe? How do we look at it?
Kind of, like, as much as I don't, like I said, like, do you know what I mean? The first watch kind of dismissed it for the same reasons as you gentlemen. But like, do you know what? In a tournament setting of newer watches, bro, it kind of works, bro. It kind of works. He did it well. He got away with it, but he shouldn't get away with it.
Biz, come on now.
Biz?
You judged it, mate.
Yeah, I'm critical of that. I can't. It's very hard for me to not be, just because I'm a writer first and foremost, and I just think, although it can sound good in the moment, I think if you strip it back and take it away, then it shouldn't be as hard hitting as it is, just because it's not as on point. But then again, I understand the premise that people find it entertaining, and it's, saying things like CS Gas, it's easy to catch on to, and it's like, oh yeah, Gas, you can get away with it. It's difficult. Me personally, I can't write stuff like that, just because I know it's not right. Like, I can't go into a battle with a bar written about someone that's not when it's not right, and that's why I'm overly critical of it. Same reason I don't like people calling chest,
yeah,
ill wheel, like, stuff like that. I find really lazy. I think it's like, because you can because you can generate more punches based off that rather than off will or chess. You shouldn't go down that route and then oversaturate your shit with things like that. In my personal opinion, that's just me. That's just me talking as a battle rapper.
The next question I wanted to ask,
cheap
gents.
writing. Yeah, it's easy, cheap writing in a way. Like,
but he's addressing other. I think Sam Hypes was addressing other things in this battle as well. Like again, I mean, by me and others, leveled that he's lacking that little bit of an X factor. He's got to make a step up somehow, some way. He's got to level up and engage a little bit more. He's got to show just more of something. And I feel like he did that because he brought a lot to this that I hadn't seen in the previous round. But the thing I wanted to kind of allude to, and Ghast, I've seen your comment. We'll get you on in a second, brother, but I want to review the battle first. Is there were comments about Ghast's, quote, flatness. I'm not sure I agree with that. Like, I've got at least 2 notes to indicate quite high energy levels in at least the second and the third round, where he literally yells in the third round. Second round, he does the impersonation, which has got plenty of energy. But are we talking writing? Are we talking just what he came with? Like, what is the sense of flatness there, are we thinking?
Not from a performance perspective. I don't think he was, I don't think he was like lacking energy. He wasn't like wheezing and struggling to breathe or anything like that. I'm saying that from the Ghast buff that we've seen and the Ghast buff that we're used to, it wasn't as prolific as previous. That's how I see it anyway. I think Ghast buff has performed better than his Sam Hypes battle in 5 other battles? And I'd say, yeah. Do I think Ghast buff could be better than the 5 battles that he's better on in this one? 100%, yeah. I think Ghast buff ceiling is very, very high, and I think he, when he applies himself, and we were talking earlier about Quicksilver with the angles and the easy to go to angles. Ghast takes the complete opposite route, and that's what makes him such a great battler, is the fact that he chooses very acute angles that not a lot of people pick up on, and then explores them in graphic detail and makes multiple punches to them. Very, very hard thing to do, and he should be applauded for that. However, the problem with the Sam Hypes battle is I don't think he had an awful good time finding those angles, because in his third round, if I'm not mistaken, it was very Marvel heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rattled off the comic book numbers and editions, and the punchline's essentially no Earth. You'll never find an Earth where Sam can rap. That's the sort of the hook at the end. Yeah.
Which is great, but I've watched multiple Sam Hypes battles, and he always talks about Marvel characters, and his opponents always talk about Marvel characters. So it takes. This is what I was saying when I say like it looks like he's run out of steam. Is the fact that he's gone for an angle there, which is a more predictable one. Whether that's because he can't find one in his usual style, or whether the fact that he wasn't highly motivated for this and this was the best angle that he could go to, then it still backed up my point as to what I was saying.
Crash, thoughts?
I'm not taking anything. Sorry, I'm not taking away anything from Ghast. I think he's an absolute breath of fresh air to this scene. I think he's phenomenal, and I think even without this tournament, he's on to bigger and better things anyway. Because I think he's got so much longevity. He's a very, very unique character to have, a very unique persona in his battle rap style. Is one of one, and that's something that needs to be celebrated and expanded on as the time goes on.
What are we thinking, Crash?
Yeah, man. Like I said, Ghast first round, I gave him that first round clearly. I think that was his best round of the whole battle. And then it was like, it felt like, like Bill said, like the first openers of his rounds were great. I can't remember the second opener, but the third opener was the Marvel, this planet, that planet, all the planet, and that was memorable. But then it felt like the rest of the rounds weren't as great, like, you know what I mean, compared to that first material, which was like, I felt like Ghast had unlocked what we had been asking on this show as well of him, which was like mean, direct, found his foot in, time control. It was all great. And it felt like the second 2 didn't have that. Whereas like even Sam's third round with the Ghast thing, when you look at the rounds, it was like half of Ghast's third round was taken up with the Marvel scheme. and then a little bit on the end, where Sam felt like he packed so much more in with that punch count of the Ghast as well, boosting it up. It felt like it just had more. And yeah, I can see what people are saying about just felt like he wanted it more. I felt like the energy was a bit more direct. You know what I mean? As well as we do love Ghast in UK battle rap, and he is a needed character. It did feel like he was just kind of like, yeah, taking a Sunday drive on this one. The urgency wasn't there, let's say.
All right.
Whereas Sam felt like he was trying to push Ghast out of the tournament.
Well, we've got Maverick and Sean Cray has joined us in the comment section. Evening to you, gentlemen. Ghast, I will get you on in a second. I want to fight Ghast's corner for a second here, because it's not like I'm a contrarian by nature. But in this instance, I found Ghast wildly entertaining in this one, because I thought he set the table in all three of his rounds really, really well. I thought the opening to his first round, I'm jealous you've never seen Sam before. You're a mad, deformed, acid-melted Macklemore, freshly dug up Max Branning corpse, Jamie Vardy after a bad divorce. Like, funny. Like, okay, cool. He's opening with a bit of energy here. Again, I liked the simile of the plastic lid. Like, I don't see anyone using such a thing, and it's like, yeah, actually, that is fucking useless, and I didn't ask for this piece of shit. Brings it back to that. That's cool. His second round, decent enough flip. I do have a gym membership, and I've been twice. Like, classic Ghast, just kind of palming it off with a bit of attitude. The angle, maybe a little bit, but I think a lot of people mentioned it in the last round where we reviewed it, the cadence issue of Sam Hypes. Maybe the placement of how he pronounces things, just kind of leading to this sort of unorthodox feel a little bit. I thought he capitalised on that reasonably well.
The impression was fire as well, I will say.
Yeah, it was, yeah. The
impression was one of the best impressions of the tournament, I won't lie.
I agree.
We're not disputing, we're definitely not disputing that it was like a bad Ghast performance.
Mm-hmm.
The way I describe it is that he made it a lot closer than it could have been and it should have been. That's how I feel about it. And I just think, and I genuinely felt like Sam desired it more, and I think it showed in the battle to me. Even though how tightly I called it, like I had to go back on, and watch it backwards almost and count punches to. That's how tight it was for me. It's not like I'm saying Sam wanted it more, 3-0 Sam. It's like it was literally margins between the two, and then I had to do it on almost a technical aspect of whose punches were, who had more punches in one particular round. And I'm not taking anything away from Ghast at all regarding that.
Okay. Well, Biz, I know you need to go shortly, so we won't keep you any longer than we absolutely have to. You obviously got some champ shit to get on with, some more branding. Maybe you've got I don't know. What do you get up to these days outside of being a fucking legend?
Just sleep, bro. Just sleep, work, repeat. That's it.
just curious. But so I want to throw it to you as some final thoughts before we let you go. Because again, we've got Sam Hypes, Quicksilver, Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
All qualified. We'll find out next week who follows them into the quarterfinals. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I know Crash is going to like this because he likes a bit of chaos. I need you to start thinking about picking a winner for me, mate. I know you've got to remain. You might have judging to do. You might have some impartiality, but come on, the battler in you, the battler in you. Okay, if you were like, I think he might have something. I think he might surprise a few people. He might just put a run together. Who knows? Tell me what your instincts are telling you right now.
For me, it's who has more the most in their arsenal to be able to consistently battle and be good and improve on every round. For me, the ones that are showing that are De Burke, Hamill, and Pagan the most. They're the ones that. However, Quicksilver is slowly behind, just shortly behind those. So I wouldn't rule him out completely. We were talking to Hamill before about De Burke and how well-rounded he is, and how he's actually got a lot more experience than what's made out, and I think that will certainly show in his battle with Hamill, I would imagine. And I think, to be honest, I think the winner of Hamill and De Burke, that could be your winner. However, you've got Bison Briggs still in the tournament, who is an absolute veteran in this, and if he actually put his mind to it and knuckled down and went for it, then he could quite easily sweep up because he's got so much more experience than everyone else, and he's got a great pen, and his performance is, you know, above and beyond as well. So there's a few different potential winners, but I do think that the defining battle for me would certainly be De Burke and Hamill. I think the winner of that, it will be hard to dismiss them for winning the tournament.
And then the final question I have, and then I want to throw it to Crash to bid our illustrious guest goodbye, is: have you enjoyed the tournament? Be honest now. We're not above being critical on this show. From start to finish, like the concept of it, and now the execution of it. You've appeared on it. You've judged on it. How have you found it?
I think it's very, very refreshing. I think the way in which it was presented is, you know, very, very professional, and it goes down a different avenue, which I think garners a lot more attention. And I think it's the way that it's set up, and, you know, the cutaways and, you know, the flashbacks to old battles and the interviews. I think it's such a good thing to build on as a foundation. My only criticism with the tournament is that there were some battlers who have just not taken it seriously, and that really riles me up because it's an opportunity that someone else would have taken with both hands. I was disappointed that there wasn't many, you know, top tier battle rappers in it because of the prizes and, you know, what could come at the end of it. You know, you get a nice shiny belt, a UK title shot, £3,000, all for just winning, you know, a few battles on 60-second rounds. So I was disappointed to see that there weren't more top tiers involved to make it, you know, even more interesting than it has been. But it has uncovered a lot of potential stars. It's bulked up the talent pool, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of battlers that can come out of this tournament, whether they've gone out in the groups, they go out in the knockout stages, that, you know, I'd like to see them on cards moving forward. I'd like to see them battling a lot more. There's certainly names that, you know, I haven't watched before that I would like to, you know, continue watching. And there are ones that have jumped in the tournament who have, you know, shown themselves to be very, very competitive and improving as well. I've been very impressed with Caveman. Even though Caveman hasn't made it through to the knockouts, I think Caveman should continue battling. I think he's a very unique character. He's got a unique style. It'll be his turn to, you know, to go far. Red Wolf, I think, grew with confidence as the rounds went on. Kick Nelly's a unique individual and a unique style that, you know, these people are needed in battle rap because it doesn't make it so, you know, mundane and neutral, and it's not all the same style. These people are required. B Ramble, I'd love to see more of B Ramble. I know that, you know, she didn't have a great tournament. You know, you've got Spirit and Beyond, who were both, you know, we watched them in the first, well, we certainly with Spirit, we watched him in the first couple of weeks and we were like, wow, this guy's going to be great. And, you know, he vanished off the face of the earth, which is a shame. But yeah, all in all, the tournament is amazing. The setup is amazing. The way it's been run is amazing. It's been very professional. I'm glad it's getting the look and the hype that it's deserved, like people yourselves recapping it. I think the battles involved, the majority of them are doing themselves justice. There's a lot of ones improving. Dub T, Pagan, Hamill, De Burke. You know, all these guys I really enjoy seeing, and they're getting very valuable experience whilst battling as well, which is the most important thing. You know, they're getting like 4 or 5 battles under the belt that within the space of a year, and that counts for a lot moving into your next, you know, your next couple of events. And like I said, man, the only thing I was disappointed with was the fact that more of the top guys didn't join in, and the ones that, you know, no-showed or choked. I think I find it very difficult unless you're riddled with nerves to choke on 3 60-second rounds. I think you need to be better prepared in those instances. And that's just my criticism with regards to battle rap as a whole in terms of the tournament.
Final word to Bizzo from Crash there, my friend, as we bid our illustrious guest goodbye. Crash, any words to Bizzo for coming on today, and any thoughts on what he said?
No, it's kind of like a final statement, bro. I just want to say, because I enjoyed the little speech you gave to Ham on the advice. So for the winner of the Where Winning Matters, the whole tournament, like, you know what I mean, the top boss, as you've been in that spot of winning a tournament, what's the best piece of advice you could give to whoever wins that spot, man, and becomes the next Prem champ? Is it good luck? Is it don't come to the old castle, like, do you know what I mean, still vacant?
Yeah, stay in your lane. Don't go anywhere near this championship.
No, never man. I love. Listen, I love UK battle rap. Always have done. Always will do. It's never been, all about me. This I've always wanted, it to be. I've always wanted the scene to grow. I've done everything I can to help the scene grow. I've done everything I can to see the fans get entertainment that they deserve because they pay hard-earned money to attend events. The winner of the tournament, it's literally going back to what I said to Hamill, man. It's just stay humble in terms of what your next step is. You've got, if you get a UK title shot out of this tournament win, you've got to treat it as if you're still improving. Don't think because you've made it into the match that you're deserving of it and you can just coast along and nick the belt off Gemini. It's not going to happen. You've got to continue to improve. You've got to continue to look for avenues where you can get better. Continue to put your ego to the side and accept criticism where necessary as well. That's so important. The amount of criticism that I had during my run in that tournament was necessary, and it also proved very beneficial for me. So that's what I would say to whoever wins this tournament is that just, don't think this is it now. Don't think that you're the guy now. You still have work to do. And if you do the work, then you can be the guy until someone like myself beats you.
Yep. Well, that is spoken as a true longest ever
right there, man. Real experience, man.
There you go. Biz, we got to let you go, brother, because you've got other stuff to do. And I appreciate you hopping on today, man. And again, I was really looking forward to seeing what you had to offer in terms of your insight and experience. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, brother.
Anytime, boys. Thank you for having me.
There you go. That's Bizzo Bond, ladies and gentlemen. You know the rest, of course. Crash. We've pretty much covered everything, although I have two people that want to come on and have their say. Now, again, I know it's a school night, so again, I don't know how much more gas you've got in the tank. I'm going to give these gentlemen a little bit of time. Little bit of time, gentlemen. We don't have long, though.
Like 25 up to 11? I don't mind.
We can do up to 11. We can have it. I've got one guy who might have something to say about the fact that he was in this episode. Young Ghast Buff is going to join us in a second. Also, we've got someone that's appearing next week. Maybe he's got something to say about the show that he's going to be appearing on then. Maybe he's got something to say about the tournament up until this point. But first, we welcome Ghast Buff to the show. He'll appear any second, I'm sure. Maybe I missed the click.
Man. I told you.
There it is.
Out of here, man.
There he is. Ghast Buff joins us live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, how we doing, boys?
He's lyrically dead. Well, go on.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Man.
My favourite got killed. Ghast! No!
Like when they killed Bradley Brandon again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, do you know how exhausting it is pretending you're still in this thing for so long?
Oh my god! That's so funny. Sorry, Crash. I know you don't get why that's funny. I am bursting at the seams with kayfabe. Like, I can't talk about the high five for 2 months. I was like, that high five was fucking hysterical, and I can't tell anyone about it. Ghast, the struggle is real, but it's over. Right, I'm gonna shut up. Talk us through it, brother. What happened?
Cool,
mate?
Cool. So, like, I'm gonna be real. I just sucked this tournament, man. Like, I've got a lot of relief to come out and say it. And the reason that I say this is because, like, usually I will look at battles that I've done previously and I'll be like, that is a great battle of mine. I can show that to people. Or even like, that's a great round of mine, start to finish. The whole tournament, there's like, oh, that's a good bar, I guess. Like I don't know if I just like really struggle to translate to the 60s. Because like Bizzo said, I really love doing like big, long, weird build-ups with people for approaches that no one else has taken. And, you know, when people were reviewing it, like Bizzo was saying, oh, Ghast seems like he's really burnt out. Sean's like, you know, Sam clearly wanted it more. He didn't see that hunger in Ghast. And I'm watching that and I'm thinking, oh shit, was it that obvious? Because, like, not to spoil it, because obviously we did our own interview after the last top 8 one, which will come out after the next round comes on. And you were telling me these things where you were like, yeah, it's really impressive how you've been able to not be burnt out. And I'm like, are you kidding me, mate? I've been burnt out since Red Wolf. Like, I was hoping the tournament would start in January. I've got to go straight into it after an event where I was already feeling like I need a break of some kind. Like, if I was going to trace it all the way backwards, it was probably the reverse battle, because the reverse battle felt like I'd run into a brick wall. I was like, fuck, this is the greatest 3 rounds I've ever written, and I still feel like I got cleared. You know, oh, shit, I promised Red Wolf will do this battle, so we'll book that in. And then the Frost battle got booked after that, so that now I've got a battle moved before the one I'm already prepping for, and I've got to make sure that one's a good one because it's opening up Apex and people think it's fucking Shotty Gemini, so I've got to make sure it's. So that was exhausting, and then by the time I got to the Red Wolf battle, and you know you've seen the state that battle's in. It's on the Academy channel. The audio is not great. Like, people are actively leaving during the battle, and I'm like, just there's nothing in this. And to go from what felt like quite a low point for me in battle rap, like straight into the tournament, having to go all the way back to 60s, and not really setting the world on fire against Leicester. I thought, right, cool, fuck it, I'll be better against Bowski, and still didn't feel like I was hitting my mark. Thought, right, I'll be even better against Sam SA. He has a great performance, and I'm like, Jesus. Even at the moment, I thought, what am I doing that I'm in a position that I might have just lost to an Academy guy. And then the Sam Hypes one was, I just got really in my own head of like, there's so much expectation on me to win this, and that's not how I like to write. Like, a lot of my best stuff, it's very like exhibition style. I write to entertain. I don't particularly care too much about punch count or time limits. I try to have fun, and I just wasn't having fun with it. And I hate doing you look like rounds, and my first is a you look like round. The second is probably the closest to the kind of stuff that I prefer to write, where I'm like, I've not seen anyone address this with Sam before. And then the third was the one that I wrote pretty much within the week. I never write within a week. I always like to be at least locked 2 weeks out. And I was stuck between, right, do I do the Marvel bars because I've got a couple of punchlines that I think are quite strong. Everyone does it, everyone expects it, but do I do this because I know I can finish this and get some decent punches? Or do I go with another weird approach angle? Because I had another completely separate third round, which was basically leaning more into the anime weeb style thing and just listing a bunch of anime that were better than comic books. And I thought, can I really do that in a judged tournament? Which that's why I never did that one. But yeah, it genuinely felt like I never really got out of third gear. And honestly, like, full transparency, I was gonna call it quits after this. Like, I always said that, look, I will do this as long as I'm in a position where if I ever feel like I've stopped getting better or I've stopped enjoying it, I would stop completely. And after the Sam battle, not knocking Sam at all, because Sam was fantastic. I don't think it's a robbery. I always come out of any loss like the same way I treated the ScoMo loss. If I've lost, it's on me for not making it clear. Like, I don't begrudge him winning. He was fantastic, and look forward to what he does in the future rounds as well, because this is genuinely a very great, very motivated Sam Hypes, and I'm thrilled for him. I would love for Sam to be in the position that people look at him like they did for Bizzo and Anarchy, where they're like, oh man, I thought this guy was, you know, had found his ceiling, and then he finds that new motivation to push through, and I think we're really seeing that from Sam Hypes now. But for me, I was like, that might be me. I was always going to do another battle, because I'm not one of these guys that kind of takes their ball and goes home. I was always going to pay it forward in like one way or the other. I would have asked for like a Dub or a Pagan or a Hamill, someone that had been knocked out of the tournament but was the crop after me, so I could at least do the wrestling thing and go out on my back. Then the iBattle thing came through, and I thought, well, fuck it, I'm in New York, cool, maybe that'll be a cool thing. And again, I was really struggling to write for that one, and I was like, if I can't be motivated to write for an international on a card like this, maybe I am cooked. Maybe this is the time. And then the Battle of the Year rankings came out, and I'm not ashamed to say that did get me emotional, because it did like the I want to do the thing everyone says when they win the award, where they say, oh, it was so humbling. No, it was the opposite of humbling. It reminded me that I am really good and really respected and appreciated in the scene, and it was like it just completely relit the fire. Like, that week I wrote all of my legitimate mounts, just sat down with the pen, and it was like old Ghast came back, where it just went, fuck 60s, don't even time them, just write the round, do them. And yeah, it's been really invigorating. Obviously, I'm gutted because I'm a very competitive person. I would have loved for people to said, "Yeah, this is great. This is a genuine top tier Ghast. This we knew he'd be in the final. There he is in the final. Raise that belt high." Would have loved to have done that. Wasn't to be, but I've got no one to blame for myself for that. That was a very long sentence, boys. Thank you for that.
I was going to say right because I do need to do one little bit of housekeeping first. Hi, Dub T. You didn't hack our thing. I had noticed, but I didn't trust
you guys
that if
hear
you.
me?
Yeah, we did. You've been there the whole time, and we've just been ignoring you because it wasn't.
Listen, that's as per usual, man. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a polite time to introduce. Ghast said something like, "I was thinking I was done."
Yeah,
no offense, it wasn't. I wasn't going to be like, "Sorry, Ghast." 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Dub T's here. Hi, Dub T. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? Yeah, great. You. Anyways, Ghast, your heart was pouring. Pick that thread up. But we'll come to Dub in a second. But I want to just stay on Ghast for a second because I think you've been the only other time I can see something like this is when England go to a World Cup, right? There's this pessimism and there's this fucking apathy and yet expectation because they have all the tools. And I don't know how to take that most of the time. In your case, if I apply it to you, it's that everyone sees in you everything one needs to succeed in battle rap. So while there's apathy and there's a bit of, I didn't quite see that from Ghast. Oh, I would have liked to have seen that from Ghast. The fact is they see it in your locker. You've demonstrated it. Yeah. So the question I have then is, you've just mentioned the Battle of the Year nomination, finishing where you finished. Again, what motivation do you take from all of this going like, I'm fucking Ghast buff, and then going onwards? What do you think you need to do to put the pieces that you have together now to go to another level or to retain the level that you set for yourself and that others clearly have for you?
I don't know. I think I do need a little bit of time to like recharge the battery. I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to try and get a place on the June 6 card. And if I do, I want to do something new with it. I don't want to just do like, oh, give me big names so I can write bars. I want to do something kind of stupid. Like I want to take like either a newer guy that I can try have fun with. Because I really enjoyed the Sam essay battle. It was really nice to say, all right, you know, let's give you someone like me where there's a litany of shit to write about and see what you do with it. Like, I feel like I've had enough accolades, I've got enough feather in my cap. Like, I've battled pretty much all my favorite battlers. I don't need to kick and scrape for the looks anymore. I'm happy to kind of be the platform for someone else at this point if I can be. But I just want to have. Cheers for that, Crash. I just saw that message.
Yeah, so this is the thing, Crash. You ain't slick, brother. We all got access to the comments these days because we know it pops off.
I didn't want to break the thread. You know what I'm saying?
But no, generally, I think I need to go back for writing for me. You know, I need to be writing to entertain. I need to stop worrying about like punch count and competitive, and just, you know, write to the standard that had people rating me in the first place. So.
Crash, I want you to cast your critical eye over not just Ghast's performance this week, which, again, I'm gonna be the contrarian on this one, dude. I'm sorry, I thought I liked your performance, but Crash, not only this week, but over the course of the tournament, let's give Ghast an approximation of what we think he's done in this tournament, having set out to win it. Like, let's make no bones about it. You were one of those few people in that promo that said, I'm here to win the thing. Crash, your thoughts, brother?
I think Ghast's biggest hindrance in this tournament was the 60-second rounds, because like we've watched Ghast, and Ghast is a very, very entertaining intellectual fellow when it comes to this battle rap. His IQ is high. He knows how to work a crowd. But the thing is, you need time to you need a crowd first of all to warm up, and you need do you know what I mean? Time to get going. So yeah, the lack of crowd and the lack of response, I think that's the only thing, man. Like, outside of this tournament, you know how to battle very, very well. And I feel like it's just the cramming of 60 seconds. And I'm not gonna lie, for someone who's been around battle rap a long time, you just sound tired, brother. Like, honestly, you sound like you need a little break, brother. Like, you know what I mean? Because you do a lot on screen and off screen. Like, not only are you a battle rapper, you also do a lot, not just for leagues, but for other battlers. I mean, many of battlers have come up in here and sang your praises about, oh, when I need advice, I go to Ghast. Like, you know what I mean? Ghast knows what he's doing. I know, Lorne, off camera, we've spoken about production values, and you said you go to Ghast. So you're, bro, we've run the Ruto games, like, you know what I mean? You're a busy don, bro. So yeah, I feel like
you know what it is.
You deserve to take a break, man.
I feel like a lot of it, it's kind of like, it's very give and take with battle rap, especially as you say, Crash, without the audience, and especially with the long drops between, you know, between like when the battle actually, especially when you feel like it's an underwhelming performance. It's like, oh god, I've got to wait 8 weeks for people to tell me how shit I am, like that, because that's something that dwells on your mind. But also, like when you perform in front of a crowd and you hear them respond to that haymaker, it's immediately like nourishing and replenishing, and you want to do it again. So like if you've got something where you didn't get that instant feedback from the moment, and then you've got to wait ages to get it, like, you know, so by the time you're doing a third battle and you've not even been replenished from the first battle dropping yet, I find that quite draining. I think I need the endorphins of like the immediate feedback. So
I mean, Cammy's in the comments saying, Ghast, don't you dare be a jobber. And I speak for him when I'm saying, like, this whole...
can I impress you, bro? I know what... I found out today what a jobber was.
He knows wrestling lingo. Go on.
That's a shitty match. That's like a smoke break, a Danny Jack battle. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That's like we're filling up the card kind of thing. So we're going to put...
Ish. Like, we're getting there. We're getting there.
He's
like the bottom of the card, right? You know what I mean? No one's really interested, but we got to fill out the card type thing.
He's nearly there. He worked... he earned that.
I could just say fuck wrestling like I do every week.
He learned a wrestling word. That's excellent stuff. It took you 11 weeks, but you learned a wrestling word.
Was jobber as well. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm in here.
You're in good company as well. We're all wrestling fans here. I mean, Dub doesn't like any wrestling past 1982, but, you know, it's still wrestling, I suppose. It was back when wrestling was real to me, damn it. But, right, I do need to throw to Dub because Dub has been waiting exceedingly patiently.
What's good?
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts for young? Because you clearly had something you wanted to talk about. But before we come to your agenda, young man, give your, because again, you might have come up against each other in the tournament at some stage. You might have had to prepare for Ghast.
I thought it was going to be our final, if I'm going to be candid.
Yeah,
I've told Dub before the tournament, I said, mate, if I was going to pick anyone to win this, of who I think this tournament favours, I genuinely, and this was even before we announced who the 32 were, I told Dub, I was like, mate, I think you are in with a very, very strong shot of winning this, and I fully expect it to be us to be the final. And I've said this again, I say it on an interview, which is going to look very silly in hindsight, given that it's filmed after the Sam Hypes battle. But no, so I've always maintained that. Like, I thought that would be the final.
The bit you were saying about how you were feeling through the tournament, I get that completely, man. Like, I don't think I've necessarily been the standard that I probably should have been through the tournament. So, and it's like one of them things where, like what you were saying about not having that immediate gratification or that immediate feedback to then go and work on things. So there's been points in the tournament I felt like I've been in limbo a little bit, and that sort of sounds a little bit similar to what you were describing. And plus, I think you're being a bit harsh on yourself anyway, because, you know, Sam Hypes is Sam Hypes, man. And one, he's of a certain standard, but also he's not the easiest guy to write for in the world, man. As someone I battled him a year ago, and he's really not easy to put material together for. That's like, you know, this feels original, this feels creative. Yeah, so I think you're being a bit harsh on yourself, man. Maybe a little bit of time out.
I think like I get driven from being harsh on myself, and it helps me like go away and be better in general. Like I don't ever want to coast. Like I don't want to be one of those people that be like, people are sleeping on me, whatever. Like I want to be able to put my hands up and go, yeah, I've been better, and I can prove this. The camera tracking.
I was going to say, God's sake, Crash, your camera tracking fucking feature has been the bane of my existence since we started this show.
I don't know why it did that, bro. It's not paid to do that at all.
Cinematography.
It was fire, though. It worked out. I don't know why. I noticed it, like it was edging towards him, and then it was
works when you're standing up and moving and it's following you around the room, but when there's movement behind you and you haven't moved for an hour... Like, we got to talk production value when this is all over, yo, man. And also, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm sorry. Y'all let Dub get away with immediate gratification and not a pause was uttered, and yet I can't get away with whatever it is I get away with. There are double standards on this show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be that BAR.
Get your mind out of the gutter, bro.
I'm sorry. Oh, we're all on the high horses now. Interesting.
This is the Battle Rappers Club, man.
Ridiculous.
You ain't part of the club, bro. You can't say what you like.
It's
we
my
can.
name
You know what
on
I'm
the
saying?
door, young man. Okay, I say who's in the club. Well, depending on who you ask week to week. But Ghast, now that you're out of the tournament and you've had time to reflect on the tournament itself and the competitors in it, we've highlighted young Dub as well.
Yep.
Who do you have high hope? Because again, I know you can't help but cast a booker's eye over this to say, "Oh, I'd love to see this matchup happen. I'd love to see this happen." But you'd also like to see guys showcase things about themselves that you're seeing flickers creatively. You're thinking, "Oh, if he does something with that would be cool." Talk to me. You cast a booker's mind on this tournament now. You've got Dub battling next week, of course. Feel free to reference him in your plans.
Yep.
Fantasy book this thing for me.
Cool. So, I mean, there's lots of, and I'll be very careful, obviously bearing in mind that I know who's in top 4 at this point. You know?
As do I. I mean,
look at us. We know stuff. Fuck you.
So, you know, I'm looking
Crash
at it
is
from
literally the only one out of the 4 of us that doesn't know anything.
So, like, looking at
I
it
feel
from
so bad right now.
Again, looking at it from a booker's perspective, there's so many. And I made a video, which unfortunately I didn't finish it in time to drop before this aired. We might drop it in the week because it still runs down top 16. I've tried to look at it from a narrative perspective of who's left. Like, obviously, like, as Dub said, he found himself kind of in the same position I was, where people have been harsher on him because they've seen him be better and they want to see him continue to be better. There's a great narrative that DeBurk is literally undefeated on PB, but so is Hamill. So their battle is for a streak, and if they win that tournament, they will continue to be undefeated on PB all the way through. Like, Hamill has a potential to win 2 tournaments within 1 tournament. That's a great story. Enigma coming out of nowhere and surprising people, getting it. You know, he's a potential long-term build that we can do. Sam Hypes, as we've said, being in the kind of Bizzo role where, you know, a lot of the guys left in this tournament, they're even newer than me. A lot of these guys are like, you know, 2023 crop and post. So for him to come from like the early don't flop days, he is a seasoned vet. Briggsy, same position. Like, there's always going to be that narrative of does the gaffer rig it, ignoring the fact that Brizzy's very fucking good as a battle rapper. He's excellent. Like, there's so many, like Quicksilver, again, a real underdog story, I think. It's for the people that he's got on his resume now, the likes of your Bowskis and your P Soldiers especially. You know, Dojo Dub is like a rematch of Dub's tryout that they both asked to be judged. There's so many stories to this, and like the tournament has genuinely got better round on round.
There's also so many functions in Zoom. One of them is you can turn off the dynamic camera following Crash. It's right there in the settings, baby. It's right there on the bottom, the little cog thing where it says settings, little switch, says off.
Great part of the show, so now I'm committed to it.
Okay, all right.
But hang on, Ghast said something there about storylines and narratives, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the Dojo rematch, there's the storyline there. I lost the first time, so I get to go there and try and get my redemption. But also, and I'm pretty sure it's the only way it could work out this way, is if me and DeBurk both make the final. That's also a rematch. That's another chance of redemption for me. And so that's what I would want as the final. I'd want the opportunity to, because I truly believe the only person to battle me and have a non-debatable clear win against me is DeBurk. So that it's one I want back. It's one I want back. And
I distinctly remember this because this was around the time that I had the Anderson battle. So if I recall, so because I think you guys battled like the day before, if I remember, like the day before the Anderson battle at one of the it was like the Apex pre-show, wasn't it? Or
it would have been when was Shotty Twerk?
Plug
when
4
was that?
pre-show, I think.
Plug 4 pre-show. Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it would have been the day before my Anderson battle, and I remember me and you were sparring at the time, and I thought, holy shit, Dub, this is the greatest stuff you've ever done. He might be in trouble. And I remember seeing everyone online, like, Debug took this clear, Debug 3-0, and I went, that must have been something real special. And that day when Hulk was interviewing me after the Anderson battle, he said, who do you want in the UK right now? I said, get me Debug, because I've just heard that he's just beat 3 incredible rounds, and that led to me and him in the in another tournament. And yeah, so I think
and you won. So
yeah,
that was
I don't get me wrong.
right
I would love for Debug to win so that I can be the only guy with a win over him. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
But no, genuinely, I think that's a fantastic story, especially considering how far you've both come.
Do you know what? I feel like it's a much more interesting battle if it happens now, because it happened at a time where, I mean, in hindsight, looking back at it, it's like that's a pause, by the way. That's a massive pause.
Looking back.
Going back to that battle in hindsight, right? Like the time when I battled him was the best time for him to have battled me, because it was about 2 months after I battled RX, and it's like he has free reign over all of that material. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a much more competitive battle now, because he doesn't quite have the same amount of freedom than he did in that battle. So yeah, I'd love to get that one back in it, and yeah, if that's the final, it's going to be a crazy final. But yeah.
What would redemption mean to you if that's the case? I mean, because again, you've got Dojo next. That's a redemptive arc in of itself, and then you've got a go through. Well, if you beat Dojo, you're up against Quicksilver. No easy task. And then you've got to, again, man, it's no easy to get to.
No.
But what would that mean to you?
That pretty much makes you king of short circuit, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. If I get through Dojo and then I battle Quicksilver and I get through that, yeah, that's it's a nice little achievement. But yeah, the Burke redemption means a lot to me, because I don't want anyone to be able to say that, oh, I have something over Dub T. I don't want anyone to ever be able to say that about me. And it's the only person who I genuinely believe in the country who can say, I fucked him up. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
there's no counter argument to that yet. So yeah, and I think it would be a great battle, man. And I feel like I'm much more prepared now for it than I would have been back then. My style is a little bit more across the board. I feel like back then I was a bit lost in what I was doing. I was trying to be a puncher one day, then I was trying to be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't quite comfortable with my style yet. But I feel like on my day now, I feel like I'm a problem for absolutely anyone, and I feel like I could pose the Burke some massive problems, because I don't think he has made as many improvements as I have since we battled. So yeah, man, I think it would be a great final.
I want to look forward to next week, gentlemen. And again, Dub, you're appearing on this upcoming show, so it goes without saying that you'll employ absolutely everyone who sees us to tune in next week at 8 p.m.
Definitely,
on
man.
Sunday on Premier Battles for the next Where Winning Matters, episode 13. But as far as the other 3 battles, and I want to throw this to Crash as well, because we've only got a few more of these, Crash. There's only a few more of these. We're going to be able to cast our critical eye over and cause all sorts of ruckus and controversy. We're going to make the most of every opportunity. The first battle that was announced was Crow versus Briggsy. Boy, does Briggsy have a hill to climb here. Crow has been in imperious form. Briggsy has built momentum, but there are some question marks over his ability to be able to balance all of the hats he's wearing. What are our thoughts on this one? First, I want to throw that to Crash. Crow versus Briggsy. How do you see that? Or are you excited for it? What are you looking forward to?
I feel like Briggsy losing the first battle was kind of like a blessing and a curse, man. Like, you know what I mean? Briggsy stepped into the tournament. I think he felt like he could probably do a lot better than he did, and it didn't work out. So I feel like Briggsy knows, after his last performances as well, he knows what he has to do to win, man. He knows what time it is, man. And he is like we've said before with Bizzle, he is a capable battler, man. Briggsy ain't like the worst battler out there. He's a really good battler on his day when he's prepped and he's got everything in lock. So like, but then Crow's one of them guys that's like, he's a studier of the game, man. Crow doesn't like what people say about him, and he does a lot to prove people wrong. So again, this is one of them golden opportunities where you get to talk straight to the boss, bruv. So I hope Crow makes the most of it, and I hope it's a good back and forth.
I will share with you, as I was traversing the Feel Weird studios, I had a conversation with Crow prior to the battle, and he made no bones about it that he thought this was the best stuff he'd ever produced. Like, he was like, this is me, top tier, and I'm going to bring it to Briggsy. And whether or not he delivered on that promise, you're going to have to tune in to see next week and see. Dub, you seem to have a thought about what Crash was alluding to there. Any thoughts on the
No, it was just the camera movement, man. I was it's just the slight movement of the camera as he was talking.
Fucking star of this show, let me tell you. But
my bad.
Crow versus Briggsy, give me your thoughts, brother.
Done a lot of sparring with Crow with the ABK back in the day, so
R.I.P. ABK.
Yeah, R.I.P. man, every time.
Lyrically dead lyrically
and physically as well. So but yeah, no, Crow's a real dangerous battler, and great writer, great angle selection, great just in points of reference, things like that, things he brings up, very, very clever. But Briggsy's one of these battlers, man, where if Briggsy wants to make you look stupid, he can make you look stupid, like really, really, really effectively. So yeah, I think it'll be a great watch, from watching it on the day. It was a great battle in the room, so I can only imagine it'll be a great battle on camera. So yeah, I think everyone should tune into for that one just on its own, because it'll be a great battle.
Thoughts, Ghast? Briggsy versus Crow Kakor. Let us know.
Same as what Dub said, man. Like, honestly, I'm gutted I never got through the next round, just because those would have been two battles I would have really liked. It would have been really interesting to do something really meta against Briggsy with us both being staff and still accusing him of rigging it. I could have had fun with that. Like, there was so many angles I could have gone that were just ridiculous. They would have probably been suicide in a judge format, but I would love to have tried them. Again, obviously, Crow knocked me out of the last tournament I did, so that would have been nice to test that now that I'm more seasoned. God knows what I would have written about. Pretty much scrape that well dry, I think. But it's two battlers that are just really on form in the tournament. Like Briggsy's, it's like Dub said, he's not just a very experienced rapper, and he sounds very aggressive and he's very direct and focused, but when he wants to make you look stupid, that's what he does. He just makes you look dumb. Whereas Crow's, very clever with the wordplay. He makes some incredible references. It's almost a styles clash. Not really, because obviously they are both very direct rappers, but their styles are so distinct. I think it's going to be a treat for people to watch.
We have what could be argued as a slight mismatch on paper. Pagan versus Beyond. Who wants to wade in on this one? Because my word, does Beyond have a fucking assassin to fucking overcome somehow, some way. I don't know. Right, Crash. If you're Beyond in this situation, you're going up against a fucking killer, okay? And you're a neophyte in this fucking game. Talk me through again. This is a lot to ask from the young man.
Unfortunately, right, this week we saw Hamill versus Yaneth. Right. That
look down the camera was fucking.
Next week, I do when you're talking all the time. As soon as I see a move, I look down the camera, bro. This next week, I feel bro, we're gonna go down that route again, and we're gonna get a little 30, a little like Hamill. Look what Hamill just did to Yaneth off a win, bro. Remember, Pagan lost, bro. So Pagan's pissed, bruv. Pissed, bro. And now he gets to kick the shit out of Beyond, man. But like, in Beyond's defense, just get 3 rounds out and do as good as you can, man. And listen to what people have been telling you, and don't do what Yaneth did this week, man. And if it's too late now, isn't it? But like, yeah, just try and take it as this is your time to leave, bro. But try and learn something on the way out.
Say this is your time to leave.
That was pretty respectful. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty respectful.
Let me just help you out of this airplane door.
Get in the casket, big man. Get in the casket. Okay,
let's try and look at a positive, because Bizzo was basically this. Like, this is not the way to go, right? You do not want to come up against a Pagan at your level right now. It's a fucking whatever. Right, but he's in this position. There's no getting around it. There's no hiding
No,
from
no
it. He's
doubt.
got to go for it. What can he get out of it? Again, Crash has said it there. Maybe 3 clean rounds. Maybe he gets a couple of moments in there. But what would you guys, again, if your levels now, going up against an opponent of commensurate difficulty incline, like you're dealing with someone that's a problem for you in every way imaginable, how do you approach something that daunting from a performance perspective to get something out of it, to go, I can at least build on this, or at least I got this out of it? Dub, I want to throw it to you first, because again, maybe you've had to deal with this more recently because you're still relatively new in your career. How would you approach it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I've got a lot of sort of like empathy for Beyond, because I feel like, not too long ago, it's in a very similar scenario to him, of being like the younger guy in the scene, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to impress people, right? I think against Pagan, to be successful against Pagan, I feel like you have to understand your own style. For one, you have to be comfortable in your style. You have to know what your weaknesses and what your strengths are. I'm not sure Beyond does yet, to be honest, and because I didn't at that point, I didn't understand what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. And the problem is with Pagan is he'll know what Beyond is better than Beyond does himself, which sets Beyond up pretty badly, to be honest. But I feel like if he goes there, puts a good gives a good account of himself, gets his rounds out clean, he'll learn so much from a battle like that against a guy who is mega surgical and is going to pick out the things about him that other people are going to pick out in the future. It's such good experience for him. And I'm not being funny. Like, let's say he loses to Pagan, he shouldn't be beating Pagan at the minute, in reality. So whatever happens, he just has to make the most of it. You know what I mean? And just get out the other side of it, and then go on and show the improvements afterwards.
Ghast, thoughts, brother?
Cool. I'll try not to go too long because I have a lot to say about this, I think. Because I think Beyond is in a very good position for a tryout. He's already got the choke out the way, and your first choke is something that sticks with you forever. So he already has had that moment and had the bounce back. We've seen what he did against Yaneth. He clearly has a very good pen, and because he comes from the Spaces background, he's exposed to a lot of the iBattle guys and a lot of the guys that directed him towards me and towards Prem in the first place. So he's already sparring with people that have very lethal pens. So it's entirely possible that someone like that could show a dramatic jump from battle to battle based on who he's sparring with, and now he's got the experience. The issue with is that he's not, because of the format of the tournament, he's not quite getting the same kind of experience with his first couple battles that me and Dub did, because at least even though we were coming through it, obviously we weren't from a Spaces background, but even when we were doing our first view, they were still in front of like undisclosed crowds or academy crowds or crowds in general. Like, he's not getting the same immediate feedback from actual fans of people hearing something and going, that's fire, and that he's not building the same kind of confidence, I don't think, off the back of that. It's almost a shame that 2v2 got cancelled, because if he'd been able to get even that extra battle in front of a crowd, especially a London crowd, because London crowds are really harsh at the minute, that would have been really good for his.
But you know what? And I don't know how much you'll back me up on this, but it's definitely fucking true. You can sort of tell with Spirit and Beyond that they're not, maybe not in the battle so much with Spirit, but you can tell with Beyond in both scenarios outside of battles, you can tell they're not quite comfortable in the environment.
You see the notepad scrolling behind the eyes.
Yeah.
100%. They're not quite, because they're Spaces battlers, and this is things that something that me and Hamill we're going to touch on a little bit. We're going to play on it. It's like, when you get people online who are like, I'll fuck you up on Twitter, right? But in person, it's a different game. And like, listen, you're good at Fight Night Champion, right? That doesn't mean you can box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you can tell that they're not quite. It's not the same thing. It's a completely different sport in many ways, because again, you don't have the I have another human being in front of me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can tell, especially in the interactions you have. Like when I was talking to Beyond, I was saying like, I understand what kind of battle rap you've been sort of, exposed to, but you need to find your own thing. Because you can't just keep doing this. What happened was with Spirit and Beyond was they came in with a style that is impressive, but then you can't just keep doing that.
Yeah, like you can't come into a closed room battle where people are being really direct and really kind of quite jokey and playful is more of our style. And you can't come in here as like a 17-year-old kid saying you got the chrome tucked or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't quite But I feel like we've been a little negative about Beyond, and I'm gonna give him a lot of props because he has a fucking good pen, and he'll continue to get better if he sticks with it. And I genuinely hope he does, because he's brilliant, and he was consistently good in the whole tournament, and he will continue to be so. The thing, and I'm going to go back to my favourite topic, which is myself. I feel like I was in a very similar position when they put me against Kupar in my academy. Because Kupar was kind of the surprise guy from the year before, where frankly it was his academy to lose, and I feel like he kind of threw it away. That was meant to be, on paper, a real uphill battle for me, where I just had to look good. And a lot of the reason that I took the win in that is because Cooper kind of wrote me off a little. And it wasn't just that he wrote me off, but he didn't have much of anything to go off, because I only had the one battle and the Twitter promo and shit that I was doing. We can talk about, like, obviously Pagan's experience, but Pagan's also coming into it, even if it is only 60 seconds, with a lot less to draw on. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a great Beyond if it's a bad Pagan. And I feel like that's possibly being overlooked a little.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring there. I just think that's a lot for Beyond to have to handle. So again, Crash's point about Pagan fresh off of a loss as well. Like, can you imagine if Pagan was lacking motivation before, and now he's motivated? Jesus Christ, help us all. But the final battle, kind of a weird mishmash, I think, of styles, of cadences, of where they're coming from as performers. Frost versus Enigma the Prophet. I don't really know what to make of this one. Crash, cast your critical eye over it.
Both of these are my friends, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, probably Enigma more, but Frost is cool. I'm cool with Frost. I've known these guys a long time in battle rap, man. And yeah, you're right, bro. This is literally, no pun intended, an Enigma of a battle, like, you know what I'm saying? Frost is very good at what he does when he's in his bag, and Enigma's making vast improvements, and I do like Enigma's style, and he is getting better, man. So like his material choices are like up my street, without trying not to pause it. Yeah, up my street, like, you know what I mean? We like a lot of the same shit, a lot of the same topics, so this one's going to be a good watch, man. I'm interested in this one.
Dub T, give me your thoughts on Frost versus Enigma the Prophet, please.
I think Enigma's kind of came out of nowhere, really, in the tournament. I don't think because before the tournament, I knew of Enigma, but I wouldn't say that, I was familiar with really what he did. You know what I mean? But in this tournament, he's come out and like really put on some fucking good performances, given what he was doing, in the past. But like Frost is one of these battlers who he only needs one or two things in a round to sway a judge. Like when I battled Frost, so Frost, just for context, has said my favorite bar ever said to me by an opponent. He said, like something about me going in his pocket, and he goes, "I don't think double dare on a double dare." And it's slick ones like that in a round can sway a judge. And I think that's why Frost's so dangerous, because he doesn't need much to be effective. And I think it's definitely, on paper, it's an uphill battle for Enigma because of the position that Frost's in the scene compared to the position Enigma's been in. Frost battled, he's had 2 international battles, battled big events, battled big names. So it's one of them, but you never know, man. The tournament, you never know with some of these battles.
It is a unique one, and let's not forget last week he pulled an angle out of basically he kind of looks like a beaver and went fucking ham with it. Like, you're right, he doesn't need a lot. But Ghast, when you look at Frost versus Enigma the Prophet, what are your thoughts? Cast your eye over it for me, mate.
Well, I mean, Enigma's no stranger to tournaments. He's already in the final of one tournament. That Beast Anglia Championship match will happen any day now. It's only 4 years overdue. No, genuinely though, it's been great to see someone like, I say this with all love and respect, a guy that was lower card come out of nowhere and prove that he is much better than he was when he left. So again, Frost is someone that has been on big stages before, so seeing him, like, it's a big match for Enigma, definitely, and it's a good name to have on his resume, so long as he at least looks competitive. But it's also a real scalp to take if he does pull it off completely. That might be a pause. Yeah, like, Frost is just generally cool with the approaches that he takes. He's really good at the individual wordplay, and he's a very strong angler. But somebody's Enigma. It's going to be, I think people are going to be very caught off guard with the approaches that both guys are going to take. I don't think either of them are going to play it safe in this, especially with things being up for grabs as they are.
If we had a pause counter on this show, it'd be into the millions by this point. Jesus, tap dancing Christ. I won't ask anyone for predictions on this final edition of the quarter, because again, it's next week and we move on to the next. I guess the question I want to ask is, which of those 4 battles, Dub, you can choose your own if you must, but which of those 4 battles are you looking forward to seeing the most for their potential entertainment value, how unpredictable it may be, or just general curiosity? Crash, out of those 4 battles, which are you like, that's the one I'm going to be making sure I pay attention to the most?
I'm not gonna lie, I think it's all 4 of them, man. There's all 4 of them, man. This is one, like, we're in the part of the tournament now where an upset is afoot, man. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the Pagan and Beyond one I'm watching with bad intentions, like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, I kind of, I've seen Final Destination, like, we know what's gonna happen. But, like, yeah, I think everyone else, man, Briggsy and Crow, Dubs battle, fucking the other one, not too tired to remember now. Enigma and Frost, like, Enigma and Frost is hard to call. Do you know what I mean? I think the other 3 battles are very hard to call. I wouldn't like to put money on anyone, apart from, yeah, that one battle. It's cookings, man. I like my 30s, innit? So, yeah, man, all of them. I'm anticipating all of them being good matches as well.
Ghast, give me your thoughts. Yeah, I'm going to make you wait, Dub. Yeah, I'm going to make you wait to say your own and cut the promo, because you'll lead us out. Don't worry, we'll let you promo on the way out of the show, okay? But first, Ghast, which one of the 4 are you looking forward to, brother?
I mean, on paper, Crow Briggsy should be the best one because it's the one with the most experience. But in terms of what I'm personally looking forward to the most, I think it's Dub Dojo, because that's the one where it feels like something's at stake. Like, there's something to prove, there's a story to the match outside of the tournament, and that's what makes it interesting to me.
Fucking grinning like a Cheshire cat. Go on then. Take us home, Dub. Tell us why we should all be excited for Dojo versus Dub T. Go on then.
So I tried out in battle rap in it started 2023. So it's getting on 3 years now. And, you know, Joe was the first opponent. First guy I stood across from and shouted angry man poems at in front of strangers. Okay? So this battle means a lot to me. I have to win. Because he's already got a win over me. I cannot, for the life, my ego would not allow me to lose to the same man twice in a battle. Because then I haven't made the necessary improvements. I haven't seen what I did wrong then and was able to implement it now. So it's a battle with a lot in it. And I know Joe very well. We know each other very well. And I think you're going to see that in the battle. You're going to see us cancelling each other out. You're going to see us predicting each other's moves. You're going to see, like, in prep for this, I had to put certain things in certain places because I knew that if I did it at this point, it's not going to work because he wouldn't have spoke about it yet. You know what I mean? So I really had to think about it because, and I think this is probably, it should be the most motivated I've been for a battle in the tournament because I have to beat him. There's no like, you know, oh, if I lose to Joe, it's okay because Joe's good or whatever. That doesn't come into my mind. I have to beat him. And you're going to see a version of me next week more similar to the Dub T that people were seeing before the tournament in the Frost battle, in the Vigati battle, because I could not lose. That was my mindset going in. I cannot lose to Joe again.
I will share a brief behind the scenes anecdote as we sign off for the evening, gentlemen. I was on no sleep for 39 hours. It was a long recording day, and I seem to remember, the very little that I remember from that day, that your battle against Dojo was last on the record. I seem to remember. So you got to appreciate, just kind of woke me the fuck up. Like, it was craziness. So I don't hype battles with many promises very often, because, again, I judge things different from everyone else. You might love Dub T versus Dojo. You might just fucking love it, lads. So, no pressure. But on that note, we're going to wrap for the evening, gentlemen. We bid adieu to Ghast Buff in this tournament. I'm gutted for you, brother. But there's plenty more favourites to kill outside of the tournament, and I look forward to seeing what you do next. Dub, you're appearing next week. No pressure on your battle to perform now, I'm sure. But we'll see how you pan. Maybe you win, maybe you lose. We don't know. We'll have to watch and see. Any final thoughts on the episode this week, though, Crash, as we sign off for the evening?
No, man, to be honest, it delivers exactly what I wanted. Like I said, I give leeway for the group stages, you know what I mean? A new format of 60 seconds and everyone getting into it. But the final 16, it was chop time, man. And yesterday's episode was dark, man. Ghast, man, I need to put in the group chat, bro, cussing you, but I didn't want to spoil it for the other members. Like, I can't believe. And I thought you won yesterday as well. I gave you the belt yesterday, so I was extra pissed. But, bro, just do your battle in Canada and stay in Canada for a bit, bro. Just...
It's not in Canada. I don't know.
Is it not Canada? What is it? Spaces battle?
New York. No, it's New York again.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry,
I'm gonna go to Vancouver for no reason.
Bro. Listen, bro. It's fucking 11:30 on school night.
No worries. I was gonna say, like, I'm out of the tournament. Like, there's plenty of people to kill outside the tournament, but there's also plenty of people to kill outside the country. So if you want to see me versus Legitimate, April 25th, New York, iBattle.tv. Live on stream at a silly hour. I believe it's going live at like 1 a.m. So if you want to wait until the morning, please do. But I have been sparring with people. It is old Ghast is back. These are fucking great rounds. I can't wait for people to see them. And if you want to see me in person in domestic shores, crowds are back. June 6th, premierbattles.club. If you want to go to the semi-finals and see who is in top 4, potentially spoil it for yourselves. It's probably, hopefully, aired top 8 by then. But yeah, we are back, and then we have the big-ass finals card, which we're going to make very, very special. We're talking Apex, plug tier, things are working behind the scenes. August 1st in London. See you guys there.
My God, that sounds amazing. What if I wanted to follow you or Premier Battles for more information on all of those upcoming events, guys? Where could I follow you?
Well, Premier Battles is called something different on every social. I believe it's just Premier Battle on X on ElonMusk.com. I don't know what we are on Instagram. I think we are actually just Premier Battles. Someone stole Premier Battles on a bunch of socials.
Internet ready at the beginning, bro. It fell apart.
Just look up the name. The search bar will do the rest. But we're on them, I promise.
That battle was in Canada. Pissing me off as well. I'm tired.
And if you don't want to follow Ghast Buff or Premier Battles for any of those reasons, you can always follow Dub T. He's battling, doing other things too. Dub, where can people follow you and support you? And presumably, where do you want them to be next week on Sunday at 8 p.m?
Okay, so next week on Sunday.
This is your wrestling promo attempt. I've never teased you up for a wrestling promo
it's not.
easier in my entire life.
I would lose a lot of friends if I started cutting promos every week, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, next week Sunday, everyone be there to watch all the battles, but especially me try and get my redemption against one of my oldest rivals in Dojo. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, DubTCVUK, and yeah, you'll have a good time.
I want to take a moment to say thank you to both of the gentlemen for joining us so late in the evening. Crash for persevering as always into the wee hours of the evening on a school night, no less. I appreciate you all. Also, young Hamill joined us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I don't mind your short haircut. I'm just giving you a hard time. And also Bizzo Bond. He was a champion for a bit. I don't know if anyone's picked up on that, but he joined
He
us.
doesn't say it. He don't say it much.
He should make a
He's
bigger
really
deal
humble
of
about
it.
it.
And he should wear his own merch more as well, because he don't wear a lot of his own.
Yeah, I mean, he could just remind us, like, maybe once a show.
Yeah,
Like,
isn't he longest reigning as well or something?
I think we might have to look into that.
Word in the wins.
That might be an admin error. The same person that said Kingsley's out, I think they said that, and we all know Kingsley isn't out. He said it himself, so it's one of those weird admin errors. But thanks to Bizzo for joining us, you absolute gent. And maybe we'll have some guests on next week. Maybe Double Beyond to commiserate with his loss, or maybe Beyond to rub it in everyone's face. We'll just have to wait and see who knows. But in the meantime, Sunday, 8 p.m. Premier Battles, Where Winning Matters continues for its 13th episode. The final 4 battles of the last 16. And there's no hiding, ladies and gentlemen. It's all eliminations now. It's winner take all every single round. You can't afford to miss it. And then me and Crash are back 9 p.m. on Monday to review it all. The last of 3 potentially. So make do while the sun's shining. But before you do all of that, thanks to all of my guests. Thank you to you for joining us. Pagan for leaving comments. Tech was in the comments as well. Cammy was in the comments. Sean Cray made an appearance. Appreciate you, brother. Smokehouse was in the comments. And some guy called Dub T kept on hitting me up with send me a link. God. Just wouldn't stop. Just leave me alone, man. Crash, don't you just hate it when people are bothering us when we're live? No less? Ridiculous. Anyways, that's us gone.
Go and get fucking 7 Wive, whatever his name was, back on, man.
You nearly made it through a whole show being polite to people. Nearly. Right at the final hurdle. Ridiculous. We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. See you next week.